Oh, yes. Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan, great to be here with you on a Wednesday morning. Today is December 4th. Man, we are getting close to the end of the year. 16 more shows for the fellas here before we embark on a 2-week vacation to wrap up the year. And we will miss you, certainly. If you're a gold member on our YouTube stream, my guess is we'll probably do something over the break, do some sort of YouTube catch-up and hang out, and you know, by that time we'll be all bearded and slovenly and lazy because we've been on vacation. Oh, what's the matter?
Nothing.
No. There we go. You good?
YouTube,
we're out of order.
stream, you were
Oh,
me,
my gosh.
and I was you, and we were confusing literally dozens of people.
Correct. Tens and 20s of people.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, what is this?
We actually do have some hand signals
Yes.
that we've used in the
That's
past.
not one that
And I
Paul
go,
is
"What
aware
it?"
of.
I don't know what you're
Why
doing.
am I doing a crossing of
Are
the
you on
fingers?
drugs
what's,
this morning?
What's going on?
I like
Just
that.
saying
I like
you've
that.
got us out of order in the YouTube stream. Sorry.
It's funny, man. I was talking to I'll introduce the program in case it's your first time listening. My name is Stephen Woods, and I am...
It was Ben Higgins
It
about
was.
5 seconds ago.
But the correct name, Stephen Woods. Been in San Diego almost 15 years. 15 years in February. Love this gig. Love this show. Love our audience. You guys are phenomenal. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer of the program, the imaging director for the station as well. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are
he
you?
was always in the correct position on the stream. It said Paul Reindl. He was Paul Reindl.
Ben Higgins is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. He works another job at Channel 10. He's the sports director there and then does a morning radio show with us. And Benjamin, a very talented person in his own right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know that talented is the word that I would use.
Massively talented. Massively.
Dedicated.
Massively
hardworking.
You have no idea.
Grindy.
You're grindy, but you have no idea how talented.
No, I don't.
You have a really good sense of timing. He's really good with timing, better than he gives himself credit for.
I agree.
You know, he just doesn't. It's just he doesn't know how good. He doesn't know how funny he is. And when he tries to be funny, he's the least funny person you've ever met. When he tries to tell a joke, it never hits. When he's just telling us his normal stuff,
He just tells us what he did yesterday afternoon.
It's
might be the funniest thing.
It is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Every time it gets me. When he told us last week he was tired and he just took a nap in the newsroom at work, on the couch with everybody walking by, carrying on with their daily lives. He told us at like 9:30 in the morning too. I'm like, buddy, that's 7 a.m. time. That's prime time content. And that's the thing. He doesn't know how funny and good he is, right?
I don't. I really don't. I don't know if being unintentionally funny, though, is a great sign.
It's a great sign.
I think it is actually a sign that perhaps, you know what?
You had a tweet the other day about country singers that just laid me out. And can you pull it
Tucker
up?
Wetmore, yeah.
Yes, Tucker Wetmore. Something happened. Is that a singer?
It was just it was a tweet about a new artist who's breaking through hot named Tucker Wetmore. And I said, oh, no, they're running out of country artist names.
That's it. And it laid me out. And somebody quote tweeted and goes, Ben Higgins is literally the funniest human on the planet. And I go, I got to agree. Tucker Wetmore.
Just felt like, okay, what do we have left here? I mean, we've gotten all the Bryans, the Lukes, the Zachs.
Yeah.
They've all been taken. There's, what do we have? A couple Tuckers
Let's
left.
hear it.
This is Tucker. This is, oh my goodness.
That's the worst thing I think I've ever heard.
That's absolute garbage.
That makes Morgan Wallen sound
Yeah,
like,
sounds like Jason Isbell. Good God.
holy crap.
Tucker Wetmore. I promise you, his name is John Jackson. And he walks into a meeting in Nashville, and they're like, not anymore, buddy. You are Tucker Wetmore. He's like, sounds good to me. Fire up the auto-tune. Let's go. That is terrible. Tucker Wetmore. Benny says they're running out of country names. It laid me out. So, yeah, you're a really funny guy.
That song was called Wine into Whiskey, if you want to go back and listen later.
Of course it was.
She turned my wine into whiskey down on the back road a Friday night in my jeans and my
It's
boots,
edgy
girl.
not to go beer into whiskey, so.
God, that's terrible. What has happened?
Ooh.
Why aren't we discerning about our art anymore?
I turned her calling me into calling me a mistake, turned Heart of Gold into a heartbreak. If I was her, I'd damn sure hate me. I'd turn her love into pain and her wine into whiskey.
we have to be more discerning about the art that we consume, I think, on a daily basis. I do. I really think we need to be more discerning. And sometimes you have stuff and you go, you know what? It's not really my jam, but it sounds good in my ear, right? It sounds pretty good to me. And
yeah, that's definitely,
because it is subjective.
To be able to respect, you know what, that's good quality stuff. It's not my favorite,
right?
But I recognize that's great art.
Correct. That's not.
I hate to be judgmental, but I tend to agree with you on this one.
I know. It just all sounds the same.
I know as you get older, you tend to think that about.
What would I do? I'd put a lit cigarette out on your forehead if I could see you. You know who else would? Waylon Jennings would put a lit cigarette out on your forehead as soon as he could.
It's always been the case that as you've aged, the newer music does not seem like it's as quality as the older music was.
There's so much good new.
Your parents thought that. Your grandparents thought that. Hey, this isn't Lawrence Welk.
This isn't Engelbert Humperdinck.
What's going on here? This is crazy. Who's this Elvis Presley guy?
God. Yeah, Kevin says, if you listen to AI country songs, it makes it clear how derivative country has become. Yeah, derivative is a great word for it. I digress, though, guys. Great to be here with you guys this morning. I'm a little gun shy on what I can and can't say. I'm just feeling a little nervous. I've been getting my hands slapped for, things on the air that I've said. So I don't really know how to be myself right now.
Would you like me to say the things that you're no longer allowed to say?
No.
Okay.
No.
Kind of, but.
No. Just feeling a little bit insecure. You know that feeling? Where you're like, I want to be me, but I also don't feel like getting chewed out after the show.
You feel like your integrity has been tainted in some way?
No, not my integrity per se. My ability to express myself.
Huh.
Yeah, based on, I have a bit of a juvenile sense of humor, and I think a lot of people do. But I think what it boils down to for me is my ultimate goal every day when I come in here is not to talk down to our audience about how smart I am about sports, because I'm not. And I'll give you guys a hint.
That's my job.
Well, I'll give you a hint out there.
To people about sports.
Nobody that talks about sports really knows what they're talking about. It's all a bunch of guesses. And how do you deliver it, right? How do you deliver it? That's what makes it great. The delivery.
We're all sorting through this all together.
We're all
guys.
here together. This show to me has always been three buddies talking about what they think, how they feel, about the direction of the team or this, that, and the other. But my ultimate goal every day is to get you, as you're driving to work, to spit up your coffee as you drive in. And whether that's a drop Paulie plays or a funny line that Ben says or that I say, that's really what it boils down to. So,
Big bomber class, right.
I mean, nothing makes me happier.
I mean, if we occasionally come up with a nugget of insight,
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Me too. And we shoot for that.
We're all guessing for the most part when it comes to sports opinions.
Yeah,
that's the fun of sports. Everyone has their opinion, gets to share it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm wrong, you're wrong. Everybody out there listening is wrong about what they think about sports.
And the thing I like about us is that I'll be the first person to tell you, I missed on that guy. Woo, boy, did I miss on that guy.
I love admitting when I'm wrong.
I actually do too.
Like predicting how players
yes.
I love that because it means that player's doing really well.
100%. 100%. And I think we're always more apt to lean to the I just don't see much for it's never, this guy's going to be a star, and he doesn't. We were all reluctant about Jackson Merrill. Every single one of us was like, I don't know that this is the right decision.
This is Jackson Merrill.
Right? Every one of us was like, Ben was like, this kid's cocky. I don't think he can do this. It's cockiness. And look at him. He went out and did it.
Are they insane putting this kid out in center field?
Have you guys lost your mind? Are we that desperate? I think I said it. Are we that desperate? You got to move this kid out of position? Hey, kid, welcome to the big leagues. Yeah,
it's a recipe for disaster.
100%.
You're going to set his career back
10 years
by doing this.
Can we just get Tommy Pham and Jerkson Profar back?
Michael A. Taylor is sitting right there, and you're going to put Jackson Merrill out there? What are we doing? These are conversations we've had on this program. And so I love that about our show, is that we never dig in. We never, ever, ever dig in on someone and say, we are always willing to change our minds. But yeah, I feel a little gun shy, because after the show, you say, oh, you did this, and you said that. It's like, all right. I mean, the way I look at it from a management perspective, anytime you can take one of your top performers and shatter his confidence, I think you have to do it. I think every time, anytime you can do that to one of your guys that cares the most.
What Ruben Niebla and Victor Rodriguez are famous for. They take their guys, shatter their confidence.
Yeah. Hey, right before Michael King takes the bump, hey, your slider is trash, by the way. So is your sweeper. Don't throw it. Okay.
Hey, Fernando, that was a huge double there in the 8th inning, but when you were on second base, you screamed, "Let's effing go."
Yeah. Can you not?
Can
you not do that? Right.
Tamper that down.
But yeah, anytime you can shatter the confidence of one of your best players, I'd say you have to take that shot every day.
I don't think your confidence has really been shattered, though. I think you're just agitated.
I'm a little agitated.
Yeah.
Just it's a hard thing to do, to come in and you try to just make people laugh at the end of the day. It's never personal. It's just business.
It's the hardest thing to do, actually.
It is. It can be very difficult. So if I'm a little quiet today, fellas, now you know why.
Searching for the right word.
Yeah, searching for the right things to say. I'm a little gun shy, afraid to pull the trigger. It happens.
Speaking of making people laugh, we have had a pretty cool prize this week. We've been giving away tickets to comedian Shane Gillis. We've been doing it late in the show.
Yeah.
I wanted to switch it up today and give a chance for some of our early morning tier ones who rise and shine with us at 6 a.m.
That's a good idea.
The chance to win those tickets. So when we set the menu in our next segment, we are also going to give away a pair of tickets to comedian Shane Gillis at Pechanga Arena. It's not until June, but you'll have them in hand, ready to go for the show when it comes around, and have you an opportunity to win that coming up.
He has a show, Shane Gillis has a show on Netflix called Tires. And I had very high hopes for it when it came out because I loved the idea. He looks like a guy that works at a tire shop. So the minute it came, I go, this is going to be brilliant. And it's not that it wasn't good. It was good and it was digestible. He wasn't the main star of the show. He is kind of the ancillary character where, in my opinion, I go, he should have been like the guy, the Kenny Powers of the show,
right, when
in fact he's just kind of one of the guys that works there. But he's a funny guy. So I think if you go see him in concert, I think you'll really enjoy it. His
stand-ups they kill me. They're so funny.
Yeah, he's really, really talented. Really, really talented. So that show, though, if I had a chance to talk to him, I'd go, I thought you were going to be this. I thought you were going to be like the tire guy, like the main tire guy. He's very good.
I'm sure that wouldn't shake his confidence.
Not at all, right. Exactly. So there you go. But I'm not his boss, so I'm just a fan.
We will set the menu, give away some tickets when we come back. Get off to an early and fast start here on a Wednesday. Appreciate everybody joining us today. It's Ben and Woods and Paul on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. There's a little traffic with Kelly Danick right now.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
I think when we become a sports fan, we always dream about the good moments, cheering for our team winning a championship, the parade. They don't come that often, as we are well aware of here in San Diego. In reality, what sports is good for is making us mad about things most of the time. And that was on display yesterday, and we'll talk about it coming up here with the college football playoff rankings that were released last night. Boy, there are some mad fan bases. I'm almost glad that not really a part of this whole dog and pony show of the college football playoff. You're a Notre Dame fan. They're going to be in, but the fan bases, the athletic directors, the conference commissioners,
they're hot.
They are all just mad about what was laid out yesterday and will likely come to pass later this week when the conference championship games are played and they set the final matchups for the first ever 12-team playoff. And we can talk about that coming up. But do you get the sense that, people need an excuse? You can't necessarily, unless you're Woods, just get mad at your boss all the time. So you use sports as your outlet to like, hey, you know what? This is a safe thing for me to be mad about.
I get less mad at sports the older I get.
Do you?
It's weird. You guys remember the Woods of 7 years ago? I couldn't. The anxiety would be so much. It would be so great. Like, yeah, I was anxious in the playoffs, but I was anxious in the playoffs when I was 20. You know, I'll always be anxious in the playoffs. But a regular season loss, 4 regular season losses in a row, as much as it sucks, if you have faith in your team, and I did last year, especially in the second half, yeah, I wasn't too worried about it. I didn't get as up in arms as I used to. And I think it's age, I think it's wisdom, and I think it's self-care. I think it's protection. You can't treat in 100, and that's why I love baseball, right? In 162 games, the live and die mentality, you can't have it as a fan. You will absolutely burn yourself out. And I have lived that before many, many seasons, and it just does not work for me. College football's great. You play 12 games and the NFL too. It's one loss.
But it's also, concentrated.
It means more. It's concentrated.
It gets so concentrated to the point where a fan base like Ohio State, calling for Ryan Day's job. They had a terrible game against Michigan, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
He has had nothing but success.
His record is insane.
It's insanely good.
Well, what is his record at Ohio State?
I think
somebody pull it up.
I think he's done poorly against Michigan, 4 losses in Michigan. I think he's lost one other conference game his entire time there.
Right. But again, it boils down to that's the one they want. That's the one that they want. That's the one he's got to get.
66-10.
66-10 is a fantastic record for a head football coach, especially a head football coach of the Ohio State University. That being said, he ain't winning the games that they want him to win. 4 of those losses came against Michigan. And that's the one you get. That's the one you get the big bucks to win. And so I can see.
I've heard Michigan fans who are already unhappy with Sharon Moore.
Yeah,
he won the game you wanted him to win. He beat Ohio State, but 7-5. I mean, we just won a national championship. What a disappointment this year. There's no.
Oh, Benny.
I mean, when fan bases are insane, there's really no pleasing them unless you win a national championship.
When Marcus Freeman lost to Northern Illinois, 28-point favorite. I mean, they were. You go into Texas A&M, you handle them on the road in that absolute coliseum full of insane Aggies. You win that game, and then you lose to Northern. People wanted him out. And he's talked about it all year. Best thing that ever happened to this team was that loss. And it's weird. They've figured it out from there. But yeah, man, like if you can't win those big games, you're not going to be the guy there. And eventually, like if he doesn't beat Michigan next year, Ben, he's probably done. Now, that team could win a national championship this year. They're still in it.
I think every team that's still alive could win it this year.
Yeah.
Wide open. But only one of ultimately will win. Doesn't mean there's only one good coach.
Correct.
In America.
Correct. And it's different, man. College, what did I say at the beginning of the year about the Irish? I'm going to get my 10 wins, and I'm going to be happy, and we'll play a bowl game, and I'll be happy. I mean, I've lowered my expectations so much that, that loss to Northern hurt, but I almost kind of expected it. And now where they're sitting, I'll be a little bit more disappointed if they go out and get blown out in the first round. But they also made the playoffs, and that makes me happy.
Well, we'll talk about those college football playoff rankings and yesterday's drama coming up here.
Do you have it clocked?
Yeah, pretty much.
I want you to
I can explain what's going on
because it's massively confusing. And who's got the biggest beefs and
it got a little simpler yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit.
But there's still a couple of questions left out there that we don't know how it will play out this weekend. So I can explain what's going on with the college football playoff coming up. 7:00 hour, we've got our usual features. Take on Woods. I had 2 ties already this week, which means 2 qualifiers for our trips to Las Vegas. Don't do this as well. We can talk a little bit about San Diego State's first conference game tonight in basketball. The 24th ranked Aztecs visiting Fresno State this evening. Obviously, we will talk some baseball coming up at 7:35. Padres did make another minor league signing yesterday, but remain on the outskirts of any big activity in Major League Baseball. Hearing some more rumors about some of the big pitching names and Garrett Crochet, teams that are interested in trading for him. Corbin Burns, an NL West team that is apparently hot and heavy on Corbin Burns in the free agent market right now.
Really interesting quote yesterday from Dodgers GM and President of Baseball Ops, Andrew Friedman. Don't know if you guys saw this quote, but it is really interesting. Kind of laid out his strategy, and it leads me to believe they're not even close to being done in free agency right now.
I will. We can talk about the Dodgers. I was listening to our station last night, and I don't know who was hosting. It was two guys, and I did not recognize them if they were filling in or they're new.
What time?
It was like 10 o'clock, around 10 p.m. last night.
Was it the big fajita?
It was not. It was not. It was not JR's sports brief.
Okay.
I recognize some of the names. No, but and they didn't. They didn't sound like they were huge baseball talkers, as a lot of the national guys are. It's college football, it's NFL. And then they started talking baseball. And one of the guys said, wait, the Dodgers got Blake Snell and they could still get Juan Soto. And the other guy said, yeah, they can get whoever they want. He said, well, if they get Juan Soto, I'm done. There's no point in following baseball anymore. Just let the Dodgers win it all. I thought that was an interesting national perspective, though. And then he started railing about they need a salary cap, baseball. And it's funny because once the non-baseball fans start getting there, baseball is starting to have an issue about this. When other people are going, this doesn't seem right. This feels like you're going down a bad path if you're just letting the Dodgers sign anyone they want. And he railed about the deferred money for the Dodgers and like this isn't fair. This isn't sporting.
He's not even a Padres fan.
He's not even a Padres fan. He's not even a baseball fan.
Doesn't even like baseball.
And he was railing against the Dodgers and what they're doing right now.
Yeah, we got some audio too from Ken Rosenthal. He was on, what is it? Sticks and Stones, Bats and Balls.
Fair territory.
Foul territory.
It's foul territory. His is fair territory.
His is fair territory.
Theirs is foul.
Yes, there's also a foul territory.
It was with Eric Kratz.
He was on foul territory.
Oh, he was on. So the host of fair territory was on foul territory.
Yes. And he talked about the cap.
On the chalk line.
Yeah. He talked about the cap and the floor and all of that because Eric Kratz is a former player. And he was talking about the teams like the Guardians that don't spend money. We'll play you that audio as well. Not that I really want to play Ken Rosenthal audio, but you know what? He is, for all his faults, he is still in the know in baseball. We have to deal with guys like Ken in the offseason, certainly.
Juan Soto potentially nearing a decision. More baseball talk coming up. Our Reindl Report, and we will head into the 10 o'clock hour and turn things over to Annie and Elston. So there's your menu for today. Do want to jump into the drama of college football from yesterday. While everybody's mad, let's just jump in on being mad with everybody else.
Okay.
I'm not really mad about it. I'm not even surprised by it. And anyone who is surprised by what happened yesterday, get your head out of the sand.
I wish we knew somebody that was very mad and could call in to 833-288-0973. You could call in if you're mad that your team, maybe you feel like got snubbed.
Or you could leave a voicemail on the Odyssey app.
It's not a voicemail.
Well, it's
like a
memo.
I guess it is a voicemail.
It's a recording that will then
voice
be
message
transferred to us that we could later play on the air.
Yeah.
Right on your Odyssey app as well. So we'll get to that coming up next with Ben Woods. Oh, wait, Shane Gillis tickets. Yes, I promised them. Let's do it right now. If you want to win tickets to comedian Shane Gillis at Pechanga Arena on June the 7th, be the fourth caller right now at 833-288-0973. Fourth caller, 833-288-0973. Win those tickets early to comedian Shane Gillis at Pechanga Arena. You can get your tickets at AXS.com. More Ben Woods next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Congratulations, Tier 1 Jeff wins the Shane Gillis tickets. Waking up early with Ben and Woods.
Hi, boy, Jeff.
We'll have a couple of more pairs to give away the rest of the week here. I have the new college football playoff rankings in front of me that came out yesterday. And I'm going to ask Woods to give me a very honest answer as a Notre Dame fan that I think will actually clear up a lot of the controversy about which teams are in and which teams are out. And we can do that after a quick check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Soapy Joe's Car Wash. Online stocking stuffer. Buy 4 washes, get 2 free. Got some foggy conditions around parts of the county, guys. Something to think about in your travels. But right now, nothing major getting in your way. Just watch out for some sort of debris in middle lanes on southbound 5 coastline, right before Las Pulgas. Soapy Joe's believes in the magic of the holiday season. Give the gift of clean and shine. Now, buy 4 washes, get 2 free. This is an online exclusive stocking stuffer. Visit SoapyJoesCarWash.com for more details. Hurry, offer ends December 23rd. Happy holidays from Soapy Joe's. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So the top of the college football playoff rankings, and this is the final version before it becomes official on Sunday, and they set the matchups, was not the controversial part. Oregon, obviously undefeated, still number 1.
Yep.
Texas is at 2. Penn State now at number 3. Notre Dame up to number 4. Georgia's at 5. Ohio State, despite their ugly loss to Michigan, only dropped to 6, so they're still comfortably in the playoff. Tennessee at 7, SMU at 8, Indiana at 9, Boise State at 10, and then we get to where everyone was waiting to see, because the team that came in next on the list at 11 would be likely the one that was in the spot for the final at-large bid. Not going to play any more games, so they knew that whoever was locked in yesterday really can't be passed by the teams behind them. Because if 2 teams don't play, what's the argument that you changed your mind between Tuesday and Sunday? And when they announced Alabama as the number 11 team, hence likely the last at-large team in the tournament, minds were lost around college football. Yeah. And the accusations started flying about, it's just the brand, it's Alabama, it's biased toward the SEC, this and that. You had conference commissioners, you had athletic directors, you had fan bases, absolutely up in arms yesterday. And there's certainly arguments to be made for any of the other teams that are below Alabama. Number 12, Miami, dropped down after their loss to Syracuse. Number 13, Ole Miss, very good resume, coming up short. Number 14, South Carolina, they had their arguments as well, but ultimately all 3 of those teams will likely be on the outside looking in, Woods, assuming SMU takes care of Clemson in the ACC championship game. If Clemson wins, you may have chaos because they would get an automatic bid, and then it would be up to the committee to decide, does SMU, who's ranked 8th this week, are you really going to drop them that far with a conference championship loss out of the playoff, or could Alabama be bumped if SMU loses that title game? So that's where we stand. And the question I wanted to ask you, with everybody who's saying Alabama is not worthy with 3 losses, a couple of bad losses as well. Oklahoma, that was an ugly one just a couple of weeks ago. Are they really the right team to get in there, or are they simply getting preferential treatment? I say to you, because right now, as the matchups stand, Notre Dame would be the 6th seed.
Yep.
Taking on the 11th seed, Alabama. As a Notre Dame fan, wouldn't you rather play anybody else than Alabama in that game? And doesn't that really the best argument that Alabama's probably the one that should be there? Because it's the team you fear the most in a college football playoff. Are you more afraid of Ole Miss or South Carolina, or is it really Alabama?
It's probably Alabama.
It's probably Alabama, isn't it?
And again, though, I'm basing that on heritage. I'm basing it on Jalen Milroe's not that great of a quarterback, and Notre Dame's defense is stout, like maybe the most stout that they've ever been since I became a fan. Their 2-headed running backs, Ben, can chew up anybody. Like, they have a legit chance to do some damage. So I'm not scared of Alabama, especially playing in South Bend. I mean, it's going to be It's going to be 1 degree, but cold. The elements are going to be they're going to favor Notre Dame.
It's funny because
but I want them. You know why I want Alabama is because I would love to beat them after the embarrassment of the national championship game years ago.
Heritage shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter, but it does.
It's never the same players. It's college football.
Yeah. This is
and
years
it's not
ago.
even the same coach
Not even the
anymore.
same coach. Yeah.
So it's a completely new team. Uniforms are the same. They got the elephant and the A, and that's Alabama. And they're still well funded and well resourced, but so are the other programs. So. Are they really getting an extra benefit here for being Alabama? I don't think so. The committee argued for them against Miami. In their rankings, Alabama's 3-1 against their top 25. Miami is 0-1.
Yeah.
If you're going by better wins, Alabama's the clear choice over Miami. Now, if you're going by bad losses, Miami would be a more clear choice. Their losses were not nearly as lopsided, not as bad. They only have 2 of them. So you could definitely make a great case that Miami should have stayed in the top 12. But if you're going by, hey, I want to see a team that I know can beat other top 25 teams, Alabama's that team. Yeah. Alabama's definitely that team. Could they lay an absolute egg against Notre Dame in the playoff or whoever they face? Because, Milroe is not one of the best quarterbacks in America right now. And, Kalen DeBoer, yeah, he was there last year with Washington, but that doesn't mean that he's, ready to succeed at the playoff level here. Yeah, they could. That still doesn't mean that the playoff committee would be wrong to put them in there.
Who's got the most legitimate beef?
Probably Miami. I think
Gotta be Miami.
Gotta be Miami.
They were there all year.
God, they had that.
But
they had that game against. Letting Syracuse come back and win that game was so brutal for them. So brutal.
Don't let them win.
Yeah.
And
That was the whole
there's
point
no
of this.
discussion here.
That's the whole point.
The whole point of the expansion, though, was that one loss, like a Syracuse loss, really doesn't have to kill your season.
Right. Well, like an NIU loss that didn't kill the Irish this season, and I think
Exactly.
And I think you have.
But
to,
Miami lost twice in the
They
last
did.
3 games.
Yes, and South Carolina has won. What did we talk about yesterday? They've won 4 or 5.
Does it matter if you lose 2 of your last 3 or 2
The
of your
committee
first
said
3?
the committee said yes. I don't
Is
know
it
that that's
about
the
how you're
greatest.
playing now,
I don't know
or
that's
how
the
your
greatest
season went?
argument because Alabama won 2 of their last 3, but one of them was against Mercer.
Right.
So okay, they beat Auburn. They were supposed to beat Auburn in that game, and they lost to Oklahoma. They didn't exactly finish the season gangbusters, but didn't lose to Syracuse. Didn't leave a bad taste in the mouth in the last game of the season, and I'm not gonna cry a ton about Miami right now.
I think it does. It's the thing. It's the old thing about college football, though, where they go, yeah. You put the blue blood in, right? You if it comes down to it, and you have some options, don't you put? Because at the end of the day, it is a business, right? Are you going to watch? Are you going to? We're sports fans. We're going to watch every playoff game, no matter who's playing. But is the casual fan Ben going to watch Notre Dame, Ole Miss, or is he going to watch Notre Dame, Alabama? Yeah, I think he's going to watch Alabama.
If you look at the projected matchups right now, and these could change depending on what happens this weekend, but you've got Arizona State, Penn State, Tennessee, Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, and Alabama, Notre Dame. Of those 4 games, if you told me I'm only allowed to watch one of them, watching Alabama, Notre Dame.
Yeah, 100%. And let me ask you this about the conference championship games this weekend. The win and you're in scenario.
So Boise State UNLV is a win and you're in.
Win and you're in.
Lose and you're out.
Lose and you're out. That's what it's. That's college football right there, buddy.
That's essentially like the first round of a 5-round playoff for those teams. If they want to go all the way, they got to win 5 straight, starting with Friday night's Mountain West Championship game, which will be on the blue turf in Boise as the home team, number 20 UNLV against number 10 Boise State.
Now I know what I'm doing Friday night.
The other game that's kind of a win and you're in is the ACC championship game. Clemson is not in unless they win. Number 17, they will play SMU. That's in Charlotte on Saturday. And then the Big 12 championship game is also a win and you're in. Number 16, Iowa State. Number 15, Arizona State. Likely that winner gets the final seed, the number 12 seed.
And those are lose and you're out.
And those are also lose if you're out. Yeah, neither of those teams is getting in an at-large berth. The other conference championships are simply for seeding and buys in the first round. The SEC championship, Georgia, number 5 versus Texas, number 2 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
What a game.
That is a great game. Winner gets a bye and a higher seed. Loser still gets in, but
Yeah.
has to play in the first round at home, likely.
Texas's only loss was to Georgia, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And this is a rematch.
And then they could lose twice to Georgia.
And they could have to play him again.
Play him again.
in the college football playoff. It is
So
it is
good.
theoretically possible.
Oh, man.
And then the Big Ten championship, which is 5:00 Saturday on CBS, is Penn State against Oregon. Winner obviously is in, and with a home seed, Oregon would be the number 1 overall seed if they win. Loser is still in the playoffs, so you've got a cushy fallback spot if you do lose that game.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's great. It's great. And, there will be teams that are upset and sad about it, certainly. And it's just, when you hear, I heard Brian Kelly talking the other day, making his case even. He said, wins and losses don't matter. And I just said, oh, okay, that's a new one from me, from a coach. Wins and losses don't matter. It's the strength of schedule that matters. I'm
It's a great night to be a Tiger.
Then why play the games, Brian? Like, if the wins and losses in your tough conference don't matter, then why play? Who's got we'll go and see who had the toughest schedule at the end of the year, and we'll put them in. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know why I'm always so hesitant to give big sports teams or organizations credit and the tip of the cap when it's due, but they nailed it, I think, with the expansion.
It's so good.
Because, yeah, there's an argument to be made at the bottom.
Sure.
And,
Always
and
is.
Miami or Alabama, whatever.
Remember Florida State last year?
But it's not. Yeah, that was way more egregious. When
Way
you only
more.
have 4 teams and you go undefeated and you get left out, like
Way more.
That's if we're talking about the 13 and 12, the 11, 12, and 13 teams ranking. Like, dude, should have been better.
Does
Like,
anybody have a problem with anybody 1 through 12 or 1 through 10?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really. I mean,
Not
I
really.
really
Which
don't.
means the system works.
That means it pretty much works.
You could argue maybe Ohio State should have been docked a little bit more for their loss to Michigan, but not out of the top 10.
No.
I don't think anyone's arguing that.
But again, and let's also talk about this. I loathe Ohio State. You know what I want to? You know who I want to watch in the playoffs? Ohio State. I want to see them in there, despite that horrible, maybe the worst loss of the year.
One potential issue, and our boss Adam was texting about it last night, is in the ACC title game, SMU against Clemson. SMU, like if the season was over today, SMU would be in.
Yes.
They're the 9 seed. But now they're playing this game against a team that has to win to get in. And SMU's thinking, well, we don't have to win necessarily to get in, but they didn't, it's not for sure. If they lose, they could get bumped down enough where they're out. And it's like, why do we even want to play this game? This is like all danger, no reward.
No reward. It's like playing.
for us.
It's like playing. It's like playing St. Mary's. If you're Brian Dutcher, you're nervous. When you schedule those
Now, if
games.
they win, they're going to get a bye in the first round, which is
that's something to
important.
play for.
I'd be disappointed. I think if SMU gets knocked out, that would be the controversy. And if Clemson and SMU are if Clemson's in, SMU's knocked out to keep Alabama in, even though SMU's ahead of Alabama today.
Yes.
And they moved down because they had to play an extra game because they made it to their conference championship. Then I think you'd have a real, okay, that's not not fair.
Because Bama's not in the SEC.
They didn't even make it to their SEC championship game. SMU did. Lost it. Like, if it's a close, exciting game.
I think it matters. It does definitely matter.
That could matter a little bit.
What's that look like? What's the loss look like if there is one? But isn't it cool? Like, isn't it
like awards in baseball, and it only matters in the regular season?
Right.
The playoffs have no impact.
Right.
I'm like, maybe they kind of should.
They should. I feel the same way.
Like, I'm not saying Tommy Edman should have been in the running for National League MVP, but
like, all right, this pains me to say, but Dave Roberts, as manager of the year, probably should have got a nod after those playoffs.
Well, wouldn't the World Series winner always just get manager of the year? What would be the point of any of them if you made it after the season? So, you look at the 12 teams right now, though, and honestly,
would it have cost Aaron Judge an MVP?
Maybe. Yeah.
Right?
I don't think that. I think any one of them could win the national title this year. Which
do
is
too.
really weird in college football.
It's pretty
Oregon's
cool.
not invincible by any stretch of the imagination. Remember, they almost lost to Boise State.
Yeah.
And Boise State, you would think, well, they've got the least chance. They're the Mountain West winner, but
they got
they
that
could have a
running
bye,
back, dude.
and they have that running back. And I mean, Arizona
Barry
State.
Sanders numbers, man.
Arizona State would probably be the one, but they're a pretty decent team as well. Even as a 12 seed, I wouldn't want to play them right now. If you're Penn State and that's who you're looking at. So, honestly, it's as wide. This first year is as wide open as probably you're ever going to get in this college football
which
playoff.
is absolutely great.
And home games for the first round is so cool.
So freaking cool, dude. Now, my brother has already texted, "Hey, are we going?" I said, "Absolutely not. 0%. Why?" Well, I made up the excuse that I have a Seals game, and I do. I said, but it's going to be 1 degree. 1. I'm not tough enough to go sit through that. Are you guys? No, there's no way.
No.
There's no chance.
No.
I don't have it in me.
I was watching that Buffalo game on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely no chance.
Yeah, you can't get drunk enough to take the sting away from a 1 degree South Bend day. And I've lived it.
I mean,
It's horrible.
pretend you had to watch the Padres in the World Series. I know they wouldn't play if it was 1, but you wouldn't want to miss it. It's it just depends on how much love you have for your team.
No, I don't think that's it. It depends on how tough you are, and I'm not that tough. I will
I
admit
guess
it right now.
Football, it's 1 game. So if it's game 7 of the World Series and I have
All
tickets,
right, I'll suck it up.
I'll probably go. Otherwise, I'm like, I'll catch him back in San Diego.
Yeah, I'll just watch on TV.
I'll catch
Well,
game
who's
3.
calling the game? Is it Joe Davis? If Joe Davis is calling the game, I'm going to the game. I'll tell you that right now. I'll sit through anything.
We'll come back. Take on Woods is right around the corner. I see everyone on our YouTube still talking about the Dodgers, so we'll get to that as well on 97.3 The Fan. Seen a lot of talk this last week as the Dodgers yesterday introduced Blake Snell, and they have been in on the rumors for other top free agents, including Juan Soto, Corbin Burns even. There's really no one the Dodgers haven't been connected to, essentially, this offseason.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is, of course, well within the rules of Major League Baseball. Dodgers are not doing anything illegal.
Nope.
Unethical. I know people complain about the deferred money, but it's not against the rules. They're not going to go bankrupt because of it. I think that's one thing that everyone, when that bill comes due, that $1 billion in deferred money, you're toast. They're setting it aside right now. That's part of the rules. They have to set it aside. So it's not like they're going to get to 2046 and realize, we spent all of our money. The deferred money's gone. It's got to stay in the account until then. So it's not like they're going to ruin their franchise by deferring the money. It's just some accounting, theatrics and, smoke and mirrors that they're doing, but they're still paying the money to the players.
Well, and if they do, they'll be bailed out by Major League Baseball like they were in 2011 with $150 million. Right?
I don't think that that's going to happen.
We should all be so lucky. That was not that long ago, my friend.
No, but quite a different ownership group.
Yeah, a little bit. I saw somebody yesterday goes, anybody can put together a Guggenheim and just go buy a baseball team. And I'm like, buddy, if it was that simple, I literally saw a Dodger fan tweet, anybody can put together a company with $350 billion market cap. Anybody can do that. Like, I know some rich guys, but that's a different level. That's a different level entirely. Not everybody has a Guggenheim.
I think the question, though, that people are asking, is it bad for baseball if the Dodgers go out and use their advantages to build their super team and sign Juan Soto and Corbin Burns?
I don't think it is. As much as it pains me to say, I don't think it is, because at the end of the day, you still got to win the games. And God bless, think about it, man. Close your eyes for a second and think about what it would feel like to beat that team, which, by the way, we said yesterday, no matter who they get, they're going to lose 60 games, roughly, 50, maybe 50, right? We've seen some absolute juggernauts. We've seen some juggernaut Dodger teams win 111 games and lose in the first round.
What's the saying? Every team wins 60, every team loses 60. The season really comes down to how do you play in those 42
games. And they're just, at the end of the day, like, they're going to be a really good team, but they are just human beings. And some of their players are getting a year older. And you still have to go out and win the games. I don't necessarily look at it as good or bad for baseball. I look at it as a team that would be really fun to be a fan of as they're going out signing the best players.
It's frustrating for other fan bases in the National League West that you don't feel like you can compete at least for a division title.
Yeah, on paper,
on
certainly.
the same footing.
On paper.
Padres came close this last year. The Giants actually did it a few years ago when they had a season that you couldn't even dream of having, 107 wins out of nowhere. Fantastic. But if you're waiting for that to happen, you're probably going to be waiting a very long time.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, has there ever been a team in sports that was just too good that ruined their league? And I don't think that's ever really happened.
It's different, though, because, it makes what, like, the Patriots did. It makes it really, based on the salary cap ramifications that they had to operate under, it really showed you, like, what a good coach and a good quarterback and a good system can do.
Yeah,
right?
had some really good players, but so many players were homegrown.
Oh, yeah.
Julian Edelman,
100%.
Gronk, and all the support staff.
And guys, like, it's funny, when the Patriots went out and they're like, you know what, we need to get Tom Brady a couple star receivers here. They didn't win the Super Bowl. Like, they got Randy Moss. He was great, but they didn't win the Super Bowl with Randy Moss.
They won, 6 rings with Tom Brady in New England, and he won the 7th in Tampa. But that was less than half of the Super Bowls,
Chiefs,
while he was there.
Chiefs are on a nice run right now. They're operating within the same systems as everybody else, et cetera, et cetera. Look, you've had teams with great players that haven't won the Super Bowl.
Even like the Miami Heat super team.
The super team. They lost
the
the Mavericks.
Celtics really started the big three trend.
Yeah.
And the Miami Heat, they get the credit for the big three with Bosh, Wade, and LeBron. But they went 2-4.
Yeah, they lost
in the finals.
They lost to the Dallas Mavericks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, nothing against the Dallas Mavericks. They were great. Dirk was amazing, but You had LeBron James and
The
Dwayne
Warriors
Wade.
dynasty, they lost to the Cavs.
Correct.
Like,
So
I think you really would have to be like older than us to find a perspective of a team that was too dominant. Like the Boston Celtics
yes.
from 1957 to 1969 won every single title except
Give me the years again.
1957 to 1969.
12 years.
12 years, and it was Boston won in 57. They lost in the finals in 58. They won in 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. The 76ers won in 67, and the Celtics came back, won in 68 and 69.
The Bulls repeating the three-peat. That was one where you looked at it and went, yeah, I mean,
I don't remember that being bad for basketball.
Oh, it was just the best.
I remember it being pretty good
but
for
they
basketball.
didn't lose to the Jazz and then go sign Karl Malone.
Correct. That's exactly right. I mean, they always added good fringe pieces,
sure,
certainly.
that's what championship teams do.
That's
though.
right. And these guys aren't fringe pieces that the Dodgers are adding, but again, it's 162. It's all of the pressure now, and Blake Snell talked about it a little bit yesterday about the pressure of pitching in LA and that it's a good situation. And yeah, I mean, look,
maybe a better example is college basketball. UCLA. 1964 through 1975. They won all but 2 titles in that run. UCLA, Texas Western, UCLA, NC State, UCLA. And in that stretch when Bill Walton was on the team, they didn't even lose for years. I mean, they played, what was it, like 3 years straight.
Irish got them.
Without losing a game before they lost to Notre Dame. Was that good or bad for college basketball? Because we look back at it now,
they go, wow, what
as like the golden era, amazing that they could do that.
But if you were at another school,
I'd
like,
imagine
this sucks.
if you were at USC or somewhere else, this is not fun at all.
No, terrible.
We have no chance of beating this team. They're going to win every game, and they're going to win the title. Is that good for drama? It didn't have TV ratings and stuff, weren't nearly a thing back then when it came to live college sports.
You had a coach that everybody in America wanted to play for.
Right.
That's what you had. And so, yeah, look, and I think the Dodgers are an organization right now. And in my youth, the Yankees were that organization. You wanted to go play for the New York Yankees. They don't have that cachet anymore. There really is only one team right now that people go, oh, yeah, I want to be a part of it. Blake was that guy. He said it yesterday. He's like, I saw what they're doing. I want to be a part of it. And, yeah, I mean, is it a little Kevin Durant-ish? A little bit. But, A, you got paid. You're playing a first-class organization. So,
I know you guys probably talked about this last week when I was out, but, like, do you blame a player at all for signing now with the Dodgers like that?
I don't blame a player for signing anywhere. I really don't. I mean, I
respect a player if they want to go somewhere else,
and
though,
try to beat
the Dodgers.
Sure.
That gives, in my mind, that all right, that's pretty cool that you want to do that.
But do you hold it against them if they go, this is my best chance to get a ring? That's the only thing I don't have. I got 2 Cy Youngs. No. I don't have that
think
ring.
so.
I mean, it's fun to make fun of Kevin Durant, but he's also one of the most elite players, and Blake Snell's one of the most elite pitchers. So you say it kind of tongue in cheek about like, oh, had to join the super team. So, but again, it's like Junior says, it's their career.
The Dodgers have dominated the NL West for over a decade, but only have the one full season World Series title. If we wake up 10 years from now and they've won 8 or 9 more World Series,
I won't be allowed.
Then we can start talking about, okay, you've kind of broken baseball if the Dodgers win it every year. But, history tells us that's probably not going to happen.
And again, man, as stacked as that team was all season, they hit their struggles. They had their struggles in the playoffs even. They got some breaks went their way, certainly. Aaron Judge decides to drop the first fly ball he's dropped all season. The first one in that inning. Anthony Rizzo doesn't charge a ball. Things could have been different. They weren't. The Dodgers persevered and did a great job at advanced scouting and all of that. They earned that World Series championship, man. They did.
I do have one example, and I was actually thinking about this one, and our friend Craig Elston just texted me and said, no, you are absolutely right about this one. I will share it with you. First, I want to throw out the numbers for Take on Woods, 833-288-0973. Get online. We're going to play in about 2 minutes, 833-288-0973, chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. I did remember this as I was growing up here in San Diego. The San Diego Sockers were so dominant in indoor soccer. They actually won 2 5-peats. They won 5 in a row.
Wow.
They lost, and they won 5 more in a row, twice. I remember going for one for the thumb, their 10th title, because they had rings on 9 fingers going for the 10th. And Craig says, being a big Sockers guy as he was, that they were the only team that did well. They sold out all the games.
Yep.
Ron Fowler, owned the team, sold out to Sports Arena. Everyone showed up. Rest of the league could care less because it ruined the league because the Sockers were too good, won all the titles, and none of the other teams cared or even bothered trying because they knew they couldn't beat or compete with the San Diego Sockers. They were just too good.
I obviously hope that doesn't happen to the game of baseball, not just because it's the Dodgers, but just because it's not great for the game. But what they're doing isn't necessarily wrong. I hate it. I hate it.
It's
but
not. This isn't like Live and PGA where
Right.
you're like, wow, you are just chasing the money. You're blood money. You don't care or
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that. Unfortunately, we have to be honest with ourselves, I think, and say like the Dodgers are the gold standard in Major League
Right
Baseball.
now,
The
100%.
organization itself, they are the gold standards. You can't fault a guy for signing there,
You
especially
see-
when they're going to throw that kind of money at you.
You see what Blake said yesterday about how they take care of their stars there. Max Muncy said yesterday, he was on an interview, and he said, so what's the how do you feel about the Dodgers adding Arenado? And he goes, as long as I get to stay, I could care less, right? And people want to stay there. They take care of their talent. Who takes care of them?
All right, I see some callers on the line. Let's get to today's game.
Why are you laughing?
See if you can take care of Take on Woods. Take on Woods brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. All right, I got a couple of choices here. Is this Danny? Danny, you calling in for Take on Woods?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. If you can beat or tie Woods, we'll put you into the drawing for our grand prize two-night getaway at the Westgate, Las Vegas. 2 tickets to the Soul of Motown show, a musical tribute celebrating Motown legends, and a $150 food and beverage credit. The Westgate, check out their $70 million in room renovations. Just go to westgateresorts.com. All right, here are your category choices for Take on Woods. We still have prog rock, progressive rock bands. We got That's Not True, a lie in each song title, the word lie. And we've got a new category, Following in the Footsteps, 5 artists who are all the sons or daughters of famous musicians. So, prog rock, That's Not True, or Following in the Footsteps, Danny?
Let's go Following in the Footsteps.
Go with the new one. All right, today's game features 5 artists who are all the son or daughter of a famous musician. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many of the 5 questions as you can. First question is our 2-second song. You need to identify both that artist and the song title to score the point. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's still time left in the 60 seconds. Danny, are you ready to play?
Let's do this.
All right, listen closely. Start with our 2-second song, 60 seconds on the clock. The category, Following in the Footsteps. Time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Danny. Let's Take on Woods.
Pass.
Which artist rose to fame in the 90s as the lead singer, guitarist, and primary songwriter for the Wallflowers?
Jacob Dylan.
Correct. Which former child actress came in like a wrecking ball for a musical career that included hits like Party in the USA?
Miley Cyrus.
Correct. Which artist broke through in 1990 with the hit Bailamos and Solo Me Importas 2, a.k.a. Be With You?
Mark Anthony.
Incorrect. Credited as the inspiration for the songs Hey Jude and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which artist had some minor hits of his own in the 80s with songs including Too Late for Goodbyes and Stick Around?
Pass.
Go back to our 2-second song. It's an oldie.
Nancy Sinatra of Booster Made for Walking.
Correct. Credited as the inspiration for the songs Hey Jude and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. All right, we ran out of time there, but you get 3. Good job. I love that Nancy Sinatra song with the bass. You got Jacob Dylan of the Wallflowers and Miley Cyrus. It was Enrique Iglesias, Bailamos, and Solo Me Importas 2, son of Julio Iglesias. And then Julian Lennon, John Lennon's son. That was a tough one for the last one. That was the inspiration for Hey Jude and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. All right, Danny's score is locked in. Woods returns to the studio. He is unaware of the category, but he gets the same 5 questions in the same 60 seconds. Time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Danny.
Pass.
Which artist rose to fame in the 90s as the lead singer, guitarist, and primary songwriter for the Wallflowers?
Jacob Dylan.
Correct. Which former child actress came in like a wrecking ball for a musical career?
Miley Cyrus.
Correct. Which artist broke through with 1999's Bailamos and Solo Me Importas 2, a.k.a.
Ooh.
Be With You?
Pass.
Credited as the inspiration for the songs Hey Jude and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which artist had some minor hits of his own in the 1980s with songs including
Julian Lennon.
Correct. Go back to our 2-second song.
Is that Rainy Day Women, Bob Dylan?
It is not. Which artist broke through with 1999's hit Bailamos and Solo Me Importas 2, a.k.a. Be With You?
What
the
is
category?
I'm losing my mind.
Tricky, isn't it?
That's the last one I can
It
guess.
is the last one you can guess.
Category would definitely help.
Jacob Dylan, Miley Cyrus, Julian Lennon. All the sons and daughters of famous musicians. That was Enrique Iglesias. And the one you didn't get, one of my favorite oldies. These Boots Are Made for Walking by Nancy Sinatra.
Damn it.
3-3. We have another tie. It is, we are 0-3 this week.
What in the
on Take On.
FIFA
What's
is
Danny?
going on here?
Danny, good for you. You have qualified for the trip to Las Vegas. Another tie.
You get to qualify.
I cannot
This one was
break
at least
through.
a little bit different. You got Julian Lennon. He got Nancy Sinatra.
Got it.
But it ended up 3-3. Anyway, neither of you got Enrique Iglesias.
What do we get for $10? $10, anything you want. So good.
Following in the Footsteps, that one was called.
Man, just an idiot. Just can't break through. Can't get the last out. Just give up the tying run. This is terrible.
Don't Do This is coming up next. I am, you know what? I'm gonna throw this out there as a do this. A brave soul, actually a few brave souls willing to do something to raise awareness for a good cause. And we can
Very
talk about
brave.
that. Very, very brave.
And we may have some, not we, but we all may be hearing some pretty explosive audio coming soon. Did you guys hear this story about O.J. Simpson's former bodyguard? Holy smokes.
I did.
I did, but
But I think
did you see the update?
I think
No,
it
is
got,
there an
I think
update?
it got debunked.
The Don't Do This might be on
yeah.
TMZ or
Damn it!
Yeah, again, I think for the second straight day.
TMZ
We'll
will
let you
get you
know.
again.
Now we'll let you know what it's all about. Coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Woods, I'm afraid you might be getting the first don't do this for not
didn't see
reading the update.
I saw yesterday.
It was such a titillating story.
It was as titillating as one could be. I was, in fact, very titillated when I saw this. New twist in the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Police claim they have a reason to believe they have a recording of O.J. Simpson confessing to the murders. They had one of his former bodyguards had a thumb drive, and they were told, hey, OJ is on here admitting to the double murder of Nicole and Ron. And that's where it ended for me. But apparently there was an update. LAPD says they have accessed the thumb drive and determined there was no confession by OJ Simpson. It was just IROC Avelli talking to himself.
And the update came 3 hours after the original story was posted.
Yeah, that's it's a great tease, and the payoff. Yeah, I've got recorded proof. OJ.
Yeah,
admitting.
Here it is.
Admitting to the murder.
Sir, that's just you. That is literally just you.
You are in your car talking to yourself.
Was he trying to do like OJ voice? I did it. Like, does anybody? I don't understand.
Hey, Twitter world.
Hello, Twitter world. It makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Yeah. You know what? I'm still really not in doubt about
Yeah, and I'm not either.
who did it. I don't need the proof.
It would be eerie, I think, to hear him.
You just want to shove it. You want to be able to shove it in the face of all the people who still think that OJ was innocent. That's all. That's the only reason.
Are they out there?
There are still people out there.
Who's still out there that is willing to
die on that hill?
Believe that? Yeah, I don't know.
Ran with that story. If you're going to run with that story, I think you want to listen to the audio thing first. If you have access to the thumb drive, get it, listen to it, and then put it out. And by then, you don't even need to put it out. Nobody even needs to know.
All right, I love when you can turn a "don't do this" into a "do."
I like the combo myself.
So this is a combo. The "don't do this" actually occurred almost a decade ago, way back in 2016. This is a blast from the past at the NFL Combine. You guys remember? Chris Jones went on and has had a really good career, all-pro defensive end, still with the Kansas City Chiefs. Back at his combine, though, in his 40-yard dash, the big moment of the combine, apparently he said, he grabbed some free, they, had a lot of free swag from, I think it was Adidas, kind of the shorts, but whatever was, it wasn't fitting quite right, and while he was running, his popped out of the shorts on live television in front of everybody. He scrambled to the end of the dash, fell down to try to cover himself and hide himself. He still ended up with the 5th fastest time of any defensive lineman. That's how good and talented he is. But he definitely wasn't at his best. A really embarrassing moment in front of a lot of people. Well, Chris Jones is one of the celebrities who is going to be appearing this weekend on Fox's special, The Real Full Monty, when he and James Vanderbeek, who we were talking about yesterday, who is suffering from colorectal cancer, and a few other celebs are going to do the movie and a male Full Monty strip review on Fox, a 2-hour special. So they learn the dance moves, they learn how to do the strip tease, and then apparently they bear it all in front of the studio audience.
How much is all?
All. 100% all. Now, I'm sure you won't see it all on network television, but I would think if you're in the audience and you're there, you see the whole thing. And they're doing it to raise awareness for testicular, prostate, and colorectal cancer. One of the reasons why James Vanderbeek is doing this is to, raise money and awareness. But my question to you guys is, under what circumstances, if any, would you take
assets?
Yes. Would you take your clothes off in a public setting in front of a lot of people like that?
If my wife wanted to make love to me at Petco Park or something.
You would?
Yeah.
You would take off your clothes?
Yeah, if she pulled me in a bathroom, she couldn't.
That's not in front of people.
He means on the mound.
I mean on a stage, on a mound.
On a stage.
On a stage in front of an audience that's watching you.
I think I'm good.
Do I have to just get naked?
I mean, is there an amount of, you just get naked.
Or do a full Monty, strip
do a dance, whatever.
Tease.
I'd be more embarrassed to dance than I would to just walk out in a banana hammock.
Birthday suit. No. Full Monty.
Oh,
Full Monty. Totally new.
I'm good. Nobody wants to
There's
see
no
that.
amount of money that you would do it for. Charity, good cause. I mean, these guys are doing it for a good cause.
That's true.
Don't know what they're getting paid for
Why
doing
does
it or
anybody
not.
need to see me nude to give money to charity?
I don't know. I mean, it's brave, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
It's really brave to do
It's
it.
weird.
How much?
It's
Can you give extra money not to see us nude?
It's very strange.
If you don't donate right now, we're all going to get naked.
I mean, when you think about it, what is going to happen to you? I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen to you? People are going to obviously
Stage
you're not
fright.
You're not going to look great.
You know you're not.
Well,
hey,
you're not going to be at your best.
You know you're not going to be at your best.
And people,
You ever go to the doctor?
Laugh, snicker, whatever.
Yeah.
Is it really going to hurt you? I mean,
Yes.
why would it hurt you?
Then, so why do we wear clothes? Shouldn't we just walk around nude all the time?
Well, it would be cold if we didn't have them on. And it'd be inappropriate, obviously, if you didn't have them on. But let's say, if someone offered you $1 million and all you had to do was walk on stage in front of 500 people completely naked.
Tax-free?
Tax-free.
Done.
$1 million, right?
Yeah, I do it.
I mean, there's nothing.
Nothing.
There's no harm. There's no pain involved.
No.
It's
Walk
just
out. How long do I stand? Just
a minute.
couple twirl?
A minute. You're out there for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I do
standing
it.
in front of everybody.
I do it for a minute.
Of course.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
I would.
How much work and prep would you want to have?
Lots.
Time to lose some weight,
I'm
work
back there
out,
doing extra push-ups just in case.
grooming,
Sucking your gut.
They have professionals, I would assume, who can make you look as good as possible in this situation. I'm guessing all these celebs are getting the full.
They're going to be all greased up.
Makeup, grease, trimming, whatever's necessary to make this work.
I'd
you do it
for $1 million. Yeah,
right.
You would too.
Absolutely.
So would you. We'd all do it.
500,000.
Yeah, all right, I'd do it for 500,000.
100,000.
No.
No. Okay, so we do have. There is a.
Hey, listen. Somebody wants to show me the money. Put me to the test. I'm down to do it.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for $100 though.
No. It's 6 figures.
It would have to be a significant
and it's cash
amount of money.
It's cash and tax free.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it for $100,000. I have to pay the government $40,000. Like there's just no way.
Yeah.
But it would be the longest minute of your life. I mean, think about when you've taken your clothes off in front of, your wife or your girlfriend. It's never that great. It's always like kind of surreptitious and like, you know what I mean? Like you never run in, you're like, look who's here. She's like, never mind.
Go away.
She's like, can you get me another cocktail, please? Yeah, you'd have to be. I'd also need a few cocktails, I think, before I would do that.
Now, there are certain people who are, streakers, exhibitionists.
Yeah, exhibitionists. And I'm not really
But I definitely do not have that gene.
Not in public. In my house, I'm an exhibitionist, but not out in public. I wear sweatshirts and stuff all the time. Like, I'm covered up.
We did see you in a diaper.
Yeah.
With the
Ripped
Corona Cave.
six-pack.
Oh, if I was shredded, I'd never have clothes on.
You wouldn't. Yeah.
I would do this show.
You wouldn't own a
shirtless.
T-shirt.
You'd see me in a tank top. I'd be Pat McAfee, except with a ripped body. Geez, it's 46 degrees outside. You're in a tank top again. That's good charity. It's just a weird thing to do, I think. It's a weird idea, in my opinion. I won't
It
watch
makes
it.
some sense. I mean, you're talking
Is it just
about
men?
It's just men.
Enjoy. Enjoy it.
I think I'll
brave.
just buy a Varsity Blues jersey on James
Yeah.
Vanderbeek's website instead.
Perfect.
And that is Don't and Do This for Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we have a bit of a Juan Soto update if we want to keep talking a little baseball. And the Padres did make another signing yesterday. Not the big splash, but another, piece that you're going to see in Peoria in a couple of months.
Peoria piece.
We can talk about the Peoria piece when we come back with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Comments and again, that's what this show is for, man. This is three buddies sitting around trying to parse it all out with you guys every day. Don't know the answer, but I've seen a couple of responses of, if the Dodgers go out and get Soto and Burns, I'm not watching baseball anymore. Look, that is your prerogative. There's nothing that's going to get me to stop watching baseball. Honestly, there's not. I'll watch it till the day I die. There's no question. Does it suck sometimes? Yeah. Is it rough to watch that team continue to add superstars? Of course, especially after winning a World Series. Yes, it sucks. It's terrible. It doesn't mean I am going to give up on the game I love so much. But I have seen a couple of people saying they're skirting the edges here with the deferrals, and there is an element of it not feeling fair because Paul, you just made a really good point. If Elon Musk walks into a McLaren dealership today and says, I want a McLaren, they say, here's the keys. We'll sort out the paperwork later.
You're good for it.
You're good. And he's like, I paulie, 15 minutes, but I want that McLaren. Done. Here's the keys. There's the manuals inside. You know how to drive it, have a ball.
Your people, call our people, we'll get the money squared away.
Paulie walks into the McLaren dealership today and says, I want a McLaren, or me or Ben. And they say, yeah, no. What did you make last year? No. What's your credit? No, not happening, right? They're able to hold up the numbers to say, this is what we have. This is what we have in escrow. This is what's gaining interest every year. The rumor is they'll pay for Shohei's entire contract in about 3 years, which is what a baseball insider told me the day they signed him, that he knew this is what they're doing. They will be able to pay it off in 3 years, which is really smart business at the end of the day. But you have to have the player that's willing to say, yes, pay me $700, but give me $60 up front. You have to have that player. It takes a special type of player. He was that player, and that set them up.
I don't know that the Dodgers couldn't afford it. If he wanted to be paid
he wanted
now,
cash.
Then they would pay him now, and he was willing to take it later. Ultimately, a lot is made about the deferrals, but there's a real value to all of those contracts that they will be paying. They are paying right now. They're paying it into escrow. To me, that's not the big deal. This is a case of kind of the rich get richer. The better the Dodgers do, the more the players want to come there, the more money, the more fans, the more money they're getting from all over the world, the easier it is for them to buy players. It feels like a snowball rolling down the hill and just gaining more snow, and nothing's going to stop this snowball. But the catch-22, of course, is what's the alternative? You want them to just pocket all that money that they're making? They're not going to stop.
I said yesterday that's what would be bad for baseball.
But yes, I would like them to just pocket it.
They're not going to. If they don't sign Juan Soto, it's not like they're going to stop making money immediately. They're going to continue to make truckloads of money. So the alternative is either spend it on players or just pocket it in some giant investment, Guggenheim account somewhere, where it's going to, collect electronic
billions
dust.
of dollars
Like the
of
Yankees
interest.
of old that went out and bought all the talent that the Dodgers are doing now. Like the Yankees of old, they wouldn't have been the Yankees if they had a bottom third payroll every single year.
That's exactly right. It sucks. I hate it. I get it. But we had a great comment from our buddy Matthew. He says, I respectfully, completely disagree. Dominant teams in other sports, as we talked about earlier, they're impressive because they built teams better than peers with the same financial constraints. Allowing a few teams to operate differently because ownership has crazier wealth than the rest is absurd. I think inherently, Matthew, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's inherently, I can't argue against that point. But it's not going to change. And I think that's the frustrating part for fans. You have that Ken Rosenthal audio, Paulie, that I sent you earlier. Eric Kratz, former big leaguer, was asking him about, I think specifically the Cleveland Guardians and why they're not spending right now. And they have a very, very wealthy owner. And that was a team that was, you could say on the cusp last year. They've been on the cusp and the brink many, many times. They've had some great players in Cleveland. They are a team, Ben, that needs a Juan Soto type. They are a team that needs a Corbin Burns type. They are a team that needs, you name it, man. They need to add to that good young core and that good manager that they have and that great fan base. Will they do it?
Salary cap. You just said about the Guardians not really being able to do too much. If we have a salary cap, everyone wants the salary cap to keep the Dodgers down. Would Guardians have to sell their team and leave the city of Cleveland if we got the salary floor? Because if that's the case, then okay, then you can cry pity for the Guardians. But if they would still be able to come under that, like in that where the floor is of a salary cap, then they have the money to spend it right now.
Well, Eric, first of all, the way I just described that scenario, that's the way they are operating right now. I'm not saying whether that's the right thing to do. I would like to see more spending by a lot of teams, and the Guardians are one of them. But let's face it, in reality, they aren't in the same type of market as Los Angeles, so we cannot expect them to spend at the same level no matter how wealthy their owners are. The revenues just don't support it. Now, the cap question is really complicated, but you're right. If a cap was instituted, it would be accompanied by a floor. And I don't know that the union is ever going to agree to this kind of thing. They want the free market system. My point on a cap would be, okay, I get why the players don't want it. Free market is what all players should want in every sport. At the same time, is there a number, a percentage of the revenue where the players would be more intrigued? And if the owners want a cap, usually these things, it's 50 to 55% of the revenue goes to the players. Well, maybe the players get a little bit more in baseball because they're agreeing to it. I don't know how this is going to go down in the next couple of years. The agreement expires after the 2026 season, December 1st, 2026. I'm not saying the players should take a cap, but if the owners are going to keep pushing this, all right, push the limits here. Give us 60%. Give us 65%. The owners would never do that, but maybe there is a number where the players would be willing to say that works. Now, the problem with this whole thing is that the players don't trust the owners to report their revenues properly, and that's not going to get off the ground. So if the owners push for a cap, what I see coming is a work stoppage, and that would be the worst thing for this sport at this time. We've had something of a renaissance with the pitch clock and some other innovations that have come about in recent years. We've got some great star players. A work stoppage after 26, well, you'd be cutting your own throat.
You and Ken actually echoing something I was arguing earlier this week. If you were ever going to put some sort of salary cap in baseball, the only way it's going to work, and I'm talking to the owners out there right now of Major League Baseball, you're going to have to make it hurt for like 10 years.
For yourself.
For yourselves.
Yeah.
For the first 10 years, you are really going to do poorly because it's going to be so high, and the floor is going to be so high that the current players are going to do so well that they're going to have no choice but to say yes.
Correct.
And then after that, maybe the number starts trickling down to the point where you start doing better. But you can always count on players going, hey, I only am playing for at most I'm playing for the next 5 to 10 years. I am going to do so well under this new CBA.
Screw those
that I'm cashing
guys.
in, and we'll let the future players pay for what I'm going to get right now. And that's the only way in my mind you're going to ever get the union to agree to the salary cap. They're going to be falling over themselves to say yes because it's such a good deal for them in the short term, and the pain doesn't come for years on down the line when the owners will start making back what they are losing on the early deal.
How do you get the owner? How do you get Guggenheim to sign off on this? How do you get the Yankees or Cohen?
Now owners can afford to think 20, 25 years down the line.
Yeah, it stays in the family.
Guggenheim stays in the family. Go, this is going to ultimately be good for me. My bottom line in 20 years will be better because of it. But they're going to have to accept short-term pain to get it done. And anything less is not even don't even discuss it. It's not even a starter. As Ken Rosenthal said, just the union's never going to go for it. You're going to have a work stoppage. It's bad for everybody. Bad for everybody if we end up with a work stoppage.
Terrible. Horrible. You set the game back a decade every time you do it, pretty much. And baseball's not in a position. Again, he did talk about a little bit of a renaissance in baseball. I feel it. I see it. Certainly see it at Petco Park. And that's another question entirely. What is our local ball club going to do this season? And you brought up Ben, made another acquisition yesterday. I did see some people lauding this move that AJ Preller, again, one of those sneaky under the radar moves that could pay off, but certainly doesn't blow your hair back today.
And we will get to that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, we had double trouble on northbound 805. There is a hit-and-run crash near Sweetwater. It's over the right shoulder, then up ahead before Home Avenue. A 3-vehicle accident. This one is in the center divide. Also traveling west on the 8 Severn Drive off-ramp, we have reports of a stalled vehicle that's over to the right shoulder. And there was a ladder partially in the fast lane on South 5 Coastline before Poinsettia. Hopefully somebody retrieved that by now, but just be extra careful. I'm Kelly Danick, Benham Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I think you need to keep in mind the offseason is not a race.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's a race for players if you want them and you think you can get them, and you.
But ultimately, if it's smarter to wait and you think you can get the better players later, doesn't getting players early doesn't is not better than getting players later. You just eventually have to get the players that you want to put together. I understand when the Dodgers introduced Blake Snell on the same day that the Padres sign Jonathan Perlaza. The narrative is going to be, oh, look, the Dodgers are spending freely, the Padres are going on the cheap. You have to wait until the offseason is done, and then you evaluate it in its totality. What do we know about Jonathan Perlaza? The Padres signing him to a minor league contract with an invitation to spring training. Played for the Hanwha Eagles in the KBO, Korean baseball organization last year, where he had 275 with 24 home runs. What have you heard, Woods? Anything other than those raw numbers from Perlaza?
Was a pretty highly touted prospect. I think he's 26 years old, if I understand correctly. And, went over to kind of reignite his career in the KBO and has done so, and now is getting a look from a big league team. That's essentially all I know. Good power, and got a nice swing, man. I watched a little clip of him yesterday and went, oh, okay, that looks pretty good to me. But, again, one of those guys that's going to get in there and try to compete for a spot on the bench, potentially, maybe even a starting outfielder. It's not exactly. Is he outfielder?
Yeah.
Outfielder, yeah. Not exactly, like I said, doesn't blow your hair back, but again, one of those sneaky under-the-radar moves that you need to have.
Ha-Seong Kim was a 30 home run hitter, over 300 in that league, so you do have to deflate the numbers a little bit. Now, if he's anything like Ha-Seong Kim, you'd be very happy with that signing. That was a terrific signing out of the KBO by A.J. Preller, and he has generally done well in tapping not only the Asian market for Asian talent, but guys who have gone over there, like Nick Martinez. Robert Suarez came over as well. He has done a good job of scouting. His scouts have done a good job of identifying guys that they think have the skills that will translate to Major League Baseball. I am not predicting giant things out of Jonathan Perlaza, but he's another option to throw out there along with Oscar Gonzalez, who will likely be, competing for a spot on the roster at spring training. And who knows? Blake Snell may face Jonathan Perlaza in a big spot at some point, and
maybe not.
Perlaza may hit a home run, or maybe we'll never see him on the big league roster at all.
Again, I don't want to go as far as to say, it's roster filler, but that's, you need guys. You need guys. You have spots, and see if you can catch lightning in a bottle one time, and certainly something that the Padres have been able to do. They've been able to catch lightning in a bottle with arms. They've been able to catch lightning in the bottle with bats. I would say Jurickson Profar caught lightning in a bottle last year. I'd say Jackson Merrill caught lightning in a bottle last year. You got to keep it going. But this guy, he's 26 years old. It's not like he's a super old, super young. He's kind of right there in the middle, and again, doesn't do much for me right now.
I'm hoping we're set up for a busy and exciting winter meetings next week.
Yeah.
As we told you yesterday, our Sammy Levitt's going to be there every day with reports from Dallas. But Juan Soto, according to the reports, and Scott Boras was there with Blake Snell yesterday, so he was asked a lot of questions and said that currently in the process of eliminating teams, and then reports came out later in the day that could be by the end of the week that he has a decision. If that happens end of this week, that happens before the winter meetings. That should ramp up the kind of excitement and the intensity of negotiations with other players at the winter meetings.
I know nobody in baseball would ever admit it. Do you think there's any chance Major League Baseball reached out to Soto and Boras, like, get this done before the winter meetings? We've talked about how that's got to be the first domino to fall before any other significant moves can get made.
You can't really tell Juan Soto to rush the most important decision of his life.
They certainly won't be mad at it, though.
But look at what Boras is already doing with his clients.
But they're all going faster.
They're going fast.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we hear something in the next few days. All right, we'll come back. I've done it. I've gone through my Spotify raps, and it's
best day of the year.
Delightful as you'd imagine. Next on The Fan.
Oh, we are halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. However, you are choosing to consume our program. We certainly appreciate it. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. And I look forward to this day every single year. And I've already seen people eye-rolling on Twitter like, oh, God, nobody cares about your Spotify Wrapped. I disagree. I care immensely about your Spotify Wrapped. Not just yours, Ben's, or yours, Paul. You listening. I care.
What does a person's Spotify Wrapped tell you?
About them?
About that person?
You know, not much, because
That's all I need to know about you.
that's all I need to know about you.
Hey.
What a great bit that was. 97.3 The Machine. Yeah, take the top off. That's all I need to know about you. In your Pepe hole. Like my wife's, for example, would be horrible. Horrible. But I love her. It doesn't.
Horrible.
Yeah.
What makes a Spotify Wrapped horrible?
Well, horrible for me. It would be mostly Christmas music, because that's all we've been listening to for 6 weeks. Constantly. It would be Christmas music. It would be, I don't know. I don't even know she listens to a lot of music. She's always watching murder shows. That's pretty much it. But I love her, so I don't, it doesn't. But I do see some out there, and I do judge a little, just from afar. I don't judge publicly. But I see it, and I go, oh, yeah, big Morgan Wallen guy.
I feel your judgment.
You should.
You don't do it publicly. I still feel your judgment. Just kind of oozes out of you sometimes.
A little bit, yeah. I'm sorry. I want to be discerning. But I love this day. I think it's so fascinating to see what everybody listens to you can get a little bit of a glimpse into who they are by what they listen to, I think. What people like, art-wise is a good way. It lets you know, yeah, we'd probably be friends. I bet we would be tight. There's a tier 1 that I have now, a buddy. I consider him a friend, our buddy Craig. Craig and I have very similar tastes in music. And I didn't know him really from Adam, but we DM'd about bands and stuff, and he's going to be the one over in England with me going to see Oasis next year. And I consider him a friend now, based on kind of the same music taste that we have. So I certainly have friends with terrible music taste, in my opinion, but I also have friends with music taste that I go, God bless, that's deep. Like I'm actually jealous of your musical tastes and want to get into some of that stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I guess we can't really be friends, because I don't even listen to music that often.
It's
I listen
weird
to talk,
to me.
sports talk mostly.
I saw a tweet the other day that some girl tweeted. So there are people out there that actually listen to music every day. Are you serious? And that didn't register with me. It just didn't. I love talk radio too. I listen to Stern every day.
I will go many days without listening to music.
That is so odd to me.
We have our bumper music on the show,
right.
which is good.
But actively listening,
but actually, bumper music's the perfect length for me. I like about 12 to 20 seconds of music at a time, and then I'm good. But mostly, I listen to talk radio, whether it's MLB or 97.3 The Fan. If I do listen to music, I actually prefer not knowing what's coming on, like the old radio. Like, oh,
yeah,
here's what I get, and I feel like.
How's that different from like a Spotify playlist with a bunch of different songs? You don't know. I mean, you can look and see what's going to come up next, but when you're just driving, you don't know.
12 to 15 seconds is the perfect length for you. Yeah. That's good to know. That's really good to know. Very, very.
Sorry about that.
Very good to know. That's all you need, 12 to 15 seconds.
I shudder to think like your total amount of time listening.
It probably trumps yours, I would guess.
I would think so. What's the comparison here on our Spotify?
Should we start?
Total
let's start
listening.
with Ben.
All right, let's start with Ben.
And then I'm guessing it would be me.
No, I want to start with Woods.
Oh, you'll start with me.
And then go to me. Actually, just go back and forth.
All right, last year, I want Paulie's too. Last year, 59,754 hours of music.
Hours?
God.
No, minutes.
Minutes.
Sorry, minutes. Minutes of music. 59,754 minutes
of music.
Yeah.
And how many, what was your most in one day?
On July 8th, I don't know what got into me, but I listened to music that day for 582 minutes.
In one day?
In one day.
All right. In my calendar year, I listened to 523 minutes of
In
music.
your 1 year.
In the entire year, I listened to less than you listen to on your biggest day.
Oh, my God.
My biggest day,
Wow.
September 10th, I actually listened to just over an hour, 63 minutes. So
What was that day? Do you
almost
remember?
almost a tenth of my music listening came on September 10th. I have no idea why.
Hang on, let me look.
It's possible I just forgot to turn off my Spotify after 12 seconds and it kept running.
September 10th was a Tuesday, so maybe traffic driving into work or
I have
something?
no
Maybe.
idea. How many different songs did you listen to?
4,093.
Jesus.
176.
That's
Which
good.
means-
That's a huge jump for you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that also means that I only listened to each song for an average of no more than 2.5 minutes. So I didn't even finish almost any of those songs.
You're quick on the draw.
Right.
How many artists?
Total artists?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
You didn't
total
see that?
artists. Yeah, I just saw my top 5.
995.
That's what you have, Paulie?
Yeah.
That's good. I had 953. I listened to 953 different artists, 4,093 songs.
My biggest day was 526 minutes.
More than my entire year also.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
But it was October 11th, and I looked it up, and that was when I was in Palm Springs for a wedding that weekend.
Oh.
So I thought maybe, me and Megan were listening to music on the drive up or something, a couple hours at a time. But no, it was the Friday. We were already there. I was on the golf course and doing like wedding stuff out in the afternoon.
Listening on the golf course, though.
I don't even think I did, though, but I must have. Maybe it just played in the background. I don't know.
Yeah, July 8th, that 582 minutes is about 9 hours. Almost 10 hours of music straight that day. What day was July 8th?
July 8th,
Was on a what?
that was a Monday.
Oof. What the hell I was doing on a Monday listening to 10 hours of music?
I was off that day, actually.
Were you?
Yeah, I was on vacation. Missed that day. You did the show without me,
That's interesting.
I believe.
I got out of here and just cranked the tunes for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah.
What were your top 5 bands?
Top 5 bands were Kenny Loggins.
Are you kidding me? just jamming Footloose and Caddyshack theme song.
Jerry
Howdy
Rafferty.
Road. Jerry Rafferty listening to Baker Street over and over.
It's 2024, by the way, everybody.
Why are you getting shy? What's coming? You look.
CCR.
Going off around the bend.
Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh my God.
I do like Sundown's good song.
Oh
You are
my
And my number 1 band of the year.
God. Gordon Lightfoot was number 2.
Heart, yeah.
Heart.
Heart. Which was also my my number 1 song of the year.
Crazy on You.
4 times.
Heart.
I also listened to Magic Man a couple of times as well,
Oh,
making Heart
you
my
like
number 1
Magic Man.
band of the year.
He's a magic man, mama. I'm not making fun. You're like, I like CCR well enough. I don't.
Oh, sure.
But if I hear, I don't ever go actively listen. But see, like somebody said, how do you love Skinner, not CCR? Completely different bands. Ronnie Van Zant's voice and John Fogerty's voice, 2 completely dead-ass opposite sounds in my ear. Crazy on You. Why do you like Crazy on You so much? What about Barracuda?
I do like Barracuda, but I love which one is it? Is it Ann Wilson?
Yeah, Ann and Nancy.
The way she screams. Yeah, just that voice
Dude, one of
always
the
gets
best-
me. I love that voice.
One of the best of all time.
Tyler asked a good question. Please tell me you don't pay for Spotify, Ben.
Yeah, you get it free.
I have we have the family plan, so
Okay.
Shelly listens to a ton.
Sure.
The boys listen to it, and I just have the account because we all have it. So
How many hours again did you listen this year?
hours,
Minutes.
minutes 523.
523
So a little
minutes.
like 9 hours.
I did
around
that in
9
a
hours.
day.
Yeah.
How many was your total? Was like 50,000?
59,754. Yeah.
I was at 19,000.
60,000.
I thought that was a lot.
I did, and I don't know why. In July, I did go through a phase. Did you see those? You had the
Yeah,
phases.
the phases.
Yeah. I had my McBling catwalk phase in July when I listened apparently to some Katy Perry. My guess is I had like firework on because of the 4th of July for some reason, and that turned into when you have such low numbers,
The big theme
just
guy.
listening to one song can actually turn into an entire phase.
You like that song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you?
It's all right.
Especially,
I was like, a lot of my top albums were like, it was kind of unfair. It wasn't an accurate depiction because it was like comedy albums or something that I listened to like falling asleep.
So
Like
you
I'll listen
pump
to
your
like,
numbers up.
like I'll listen to stand-up comedy or something
Right.
because it's just talking. It puts me to sleep pretty easily. It's entertaining. But when you fall asleep and then it just keeps playing, you're like, oh, you listen to 45 hours of whoever. You're like, that's not totally accurate.
Tyler said Ben's 4th of July blowout plans consist of playing Firework by Katy Perry one time.
And if he gets really crazy, 4 times.
Those bands don't disappoint even in a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Who were your top artists?
Mine, Queens of the Stone Age 5th, Oasis 4, Afghan Wigs 3, Crosses 2, Deftones 1. Always the same 5, pretty much every year.
A little extra Oasis this year. With all
I had a month.
The reunion.
So when the reunion, it said your phase was, Brit pop in July and August. That's when I got everything figured out for my trip. So, yeah.
I like Foo Fighters were number 3 on my list, and that doesn't surprise me anyways. But then I remember, especially back in August, I went to a Foo Fighters concert, so I was listening to a ton of Foo Fighters, kind of leading up to that. So it does make sense in that regard.
It's so funny too, the yacht rock scene, because I've been reading about and hearing all kinds of great things about this new yacht rock documentary. It's on Max.
It's on my list.
So it was on mine as well because I have decided I'm over biopics. I'm completely and totally. I saw the preview for the new Bob Dylan biopic. Timothy Chalamet may knock it out of the park, but I saw the preview for it and I go, I can't watch any more of these. I think I'm done.
Jeremy Allen White in Springsteen.
I think I'm done. I think the biopic doesn't get me like it used to. But what is really getting me is documentaries about music. I just watched 2 Joy Division documentaries. Blew my mind. So I'm like,
Were
all
they
right.
different? Is there that much Joy Division material?
Ian Curtis. There's a lot of material about Ian Curtis. So I loved them. Oh my God, they were so good. So I go and I try to put on the yacht rock documentary, and within the first 9 seconds, it's and I go, I can't watch this.
Michael McDonald.
I can't. It just doesn't. I know I'm in the minority here.
I love that.
But
I just love it.
It's right, and that's the beauty of music because it touches you. It makes me recoil. He's sitting in a pit, and I just go, I'm not going to be able to get through this. So I made it 10 seconds. It would be like a chore to watch that thing for me. So I want you to watch it and you report back on a music doc.
I will say there's a chance this might be my last Spotify Wrapped.
Why?
You've
been
really
matriculating?
had issues with Spotify this year. It's gotten worse, I think. I don't know if you guys have experienced it. Like I don't know how you use your Spotify. I like songs, and it puts it all in the liked songs playlist, and I'll usually just shuffle through that. Get a little bit of everything rather than, a hip-hop playlist, a rock and roll playlist, or whatever. Kind of just the whole gamut. It plays the same, 6 artists, and even on shuffle mode, let's say I have 2,000 songs in a playlist, I'll hear a song, and then, 15 minutes later, it comes back on again. A true shuffle is not supposed to do that. There's a bunch of weird settings you have to change. I've been back and forth about whether Apple Music might be better, and I know there's people out there that have Apple Music and had Spotify, or they made the change. I don't know, but I've been back and forth. I've been trying to look into maybe if Apple Music is better.
I have it. I get it free through my Verizon.
Do you guys have multiple playlists, or do you just have
multiple?
I have multiple, but I usually will just go to my liked playlist
unless
I'm listening to an album.
The worst part of Spotify for me is kind of that. So let's say I listen to my number one artist, Deftones, right? And I hit shuffle on it. There's no deep cuts. It's the same shuffled playlist almost, and it's not a playlist I made. That's the Deftones artist page. You hit shuffle, and it's like, oh, here's these songs again. There
was a setting, it's called auto mix or something that you have to turn off, but that didn't really solve it.
Didn't do it.
It was just getting so annoying, and I was like, I've
Shuffle
seen,
through every one of their effing songs.
It's
Every
kind of
one
like
them. Just shuffle through those.
It's kind of like Android versus Apple or iPhones or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the people that have whichever one you have, like you're gonna defend it till the day you die.
For sure.
And I've seen the people that have Apple Music, and they're like, greatest choice I've ever made.
Better quality.
It's much better. It's more functional, but I just haven't really done the research yet on whether
I use them both.
I've put in so much work into Spotify over the last 15 years.
Somebody said these playlists are like my children. Like I can't get rid. Great that you love Apple Music. I can't go over there because these playlists are like my children, so I can't leave.
Mine's an only child. I have one playlist, and I never listen to it. I just put the 20 songs that I really like on the playlist, and then if I ever want to listen to one of them, including Crazy on You, I know it's there, so I can find it. My one playlist?
Yeah, do you have a title for it?
It's called Mix Number 1.
Mix Number 1. Did you name that?
I did.
Okay, so you can just call it Mix, since
Mix,
there is
that's
no
true.
Mix
There's no number 2.
2.
Maybe back in the day, I thought there might be a Mix Number 2, but no. It's just Mix Number 1.
Lay it on me.
A Horse with No Name by America.
My God. Oh, my God.
Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult.
More cowbell.
Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones.
Great choice.
What a Fool Believes by the Doobie Brothers. Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles.
Yeah.
Sultans of Swing, Dire Straits.
Still.
Dust in the Wind by Kansas. The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. Crazy on You by Heart.
That gets him real good.
Dream On by Aerosmith.
Great song.
Oh. Runaway by Del Shannon.
Excuse me?
Axel F. from
Oh,
Beverly
my
Hills
God.
Cop.
No way.
Kiss from a Rose by Seal.
Oh, my God.
Staying Alive by the Bee Gees.
Staying Alive.
Stairway to Heaven by Led
Oh,
Zeppelin.
I'm proud of you there.
Piano Man by Billy Joel.
Okay.
Touch of Grey by the Grateful Dead.
Oh, look at you, pothead.
Smooth Operator by Sade.
Whoa.
Ganja, a.k.a. Cannabis. We built This City by Starship.
Oh, no. God.
Reminiscing by Little River Band.
That's a great song.
Oh Yeah by Yellow.
Who?
Yellow.
Oh,
The one from Ferris
That
Bueller's
song
Day Off.
is
I
the
love that
worst.
one. I love that song.
God. Oh, yeah.
My number 2 song from last year, Miracles by Jefferson Starship.
Wait.
oh my God.
If you believe it only.
Yeah,
that one.
I'm All Right by Kenny Loggins.
Oh my God.
What's on Your Mind by Information Society.
I want to know what you're feeling. Yes.
Baker Street, Jerry Rafferty. Ride Like the Wind, Christopher
Pure
Cross.
energy.
Right Down the Line, Jerry
Ooh,
Rafferty.
great song.
And let's see. Something About You, Level 42. Sundown, Gordon Lightfoot. Wicked Game by Chris Isaac.
Oh, you sexy. You're such an
And
oversexed.
Situation by Yaz. There's my mix number 1.
You are. And you made that
I
yourself.
did. I made that one myself.
I'm very
Songs that I
proud of
really,
you.
really like.
Carefully curated.
I would like you to tweet out your mix number 1 playlist ASAP.
I speak for everybody. I say, thank God that Ben doesn't handle the music on this
Oh
show.
my God, can you imagine? Oh, that is just somebody said that's just a contemporary adult radio station, man.
You can do great.
That is incredible, dude.
You
I program for
excel.
the masses.
I
program for the masses.
I like all his sneaky, sexy songs that he has slid in, like Wicked Game and Smooth Operator. Like, you old creep, dude.
Oh my God, I'm high.
That's so good. Yeah, he's got his Cut Loose Pothead song. Oh, Touch of Grey. You are unbelievable.
Ganja,
dude.
a.k.a. Cannabis.
So good.
When I'm feeling a little touch of gray. There we go.
And if he's feeling a little sexy, a little Smooth Operator, you are unreal. Unreal. I love Spotify rap. You keep them coming, guys. I can't see enough of them, to be honest with you.
All right, we can get back to a little bit of sports when we come back. The Aztecs back in action tonight with a very dangerous game for San Diego State. Take a look ahead at what's coming up after a check of traffic with more Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There were sand and hills and rain.
Where was this on your top 5?
Oh,
It wasn't in my top 5,
This
but
is
it's
in
in
your-
my it's in my playlist.
Your
It's
custom.
actually the first one on my playlist.
Horse with no name.
America.
Man.
The show would sound different if I was in charge of the music. No
Very
doubt
weird.
about it.
Yeah, it'd be very weird. It'd be very weird.
Well, we wouldn't have enough songs to go around for every show. So
You're like,
it'd
oh my
just
God, this
keep
again?
repeating every day.
That's true. 12 segments, intro,
Intro
and
and
outro
outro.
music for most of them.
Yeah,
So
we'd be short. 6 a.m. hour, 9 a.m. hour, about the same stuff as they recycle every single day.
here's America
It
again.
is, it is a good road tripping song,
I like that.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
It's relaxing for me.
Yeah.
It's just funny that
You know, when I'm sad, I listen to Dust in the Wind.
Really?
Yeah, that's my sad
That's
song.
your sad song.
Yeah.
You ever heard of The Cure? Try them.
Oh, man.
And you are a gem. A true gem.
And he says that's Ben's walk-up music.
Yeah.
America.
You're going to be able to stay up to watch the San Diego State game tonight?
Time is it?
7:30.
Yes.
At Fresno State. Because you were complaining about not being able to get your kids asleep at like 6:45 on Twitter last night.
I had $1 billion ideas. Quaaludes for
I saw
kids.
that.
Yeah.
But I think that's $1 billion idea at like 9:30, 10 p.m. At 6:45, you can't really be that upset that your kids are still awake.
No, it wasn't so much that they wouldn't go to sleep. It's that they were being incredible a-holes. Incredibly so. And just one threw the other one into a door jam and hit his head, and then fighting, and there's like punching in the private parts, and they go to full-blown fisticuffs.
Someone suggested Benadryl, and you said,
that's like milk for them. You give them Taylor Scott. He's like, right, Benadryl. I mean, yeah, I need something that's stronger that's not going to hurt them. So
right, you don't want to permanently damage them or condemn them to a life of addiction.
Correct.
So.
Were Quaaludes addicting? I don't know. I never took
No
a
idea.
Quaalude. Anybody has any? I've always been curious what a Quaalude actually did.
In the old days, there's a little warm milk, and it's very soothing.
Yeah, no. Warm milk doesn't work on my kids at all. Neither does yelling, neither does being calm, neither does really anything at this point.
Yeah, you'll probably have to stay up until at least 9:30 if you want to make it through tonight's San Diego State Mountain West Conference opener against Fresno State.
I was up late last night. I was up late. Yeah, I was reading a
stewing. Were you just stewing all day?
No.
All right.
No, I was reading an oral history of the movie Boogie Nights that Grantland did many years ago. I put on Boogie Nights. I hadn't seen it in years, and I put on that movie, and I forgot how brilliant that movie is, and how I don't know that it would be made today. I mean, it is nuts that some of the things that they do and say and talk about. And I Googled.
Feel like today is less nuts than it was.
No, I think
in the 90s when they made that movie.
But I think people are more offended by things these days. Certainly, and I Googled oral history. I love oral histories. I think they're so fascinating. Have all the people involved, giving their opinions. So it's long. I mean, it's long. So I went and I was reading that. So I was actually up late.
I don't actually even get the concept of oral history.
Do you not? So it would be like if in 20 years, let's say we were together for another 15 years. So we will have done 20 years on the air. In 15 years, they come to us and they say, we want to talk about the glory days of Ben and Woods. So you'll have quotes from Paul, quotes from you, quotes from me, quotes from Adam, quotes from Michael, quotes from Hannah, quotes from Megan.
That's an interview and putting a story together. They've given it a fancy word.
An interview is one person
oral
or
history.
3 people. This is like
what makes it
it's
different
a
than like a
it's like an in-depth feature.
Well, it's written. It's a written oral history. It's like a documentary. It's like
a biography or an autobiography.
That's an oxymoron. It's a written oral history. I feel like if it's an oral history, I should be listening to someone tell me about it.
Okay. I mean, you can parse out the words that you want to use, but it's I love them personally. Like I can't get enough.
It's a group of
oral
people recollecting, reminiscing.
The only problem is
sharing stories.
So at the beginning of it, they'll give you Paul Reindl, executive producer, Ben Higgins, co-host, Stephen Woods, co-host, Adam Klug, program director, Michael Valenzuela, general manager, all the people involved. And then as you continue to scroll through, you're like, wait, who is this guy again? He was a producer, and you have to go back up to the top to remember because they don't put the job title next to everyone, so you have to go back and kind of look, but it's really...
Sometimes they'll just do initials.
Yeah, it's really well done. And you hear the stories, the backstory of how that movie got made, and like, it blows your mind. So I love a good oral history.
And that is a good really
great movie.
It's a really good movie. So yeah,
that's
tonight
what I did. So I was up late.
You'll be up late again tonight. San Diego State at Fresno State. Now it's no longer Justin Hudson. Remember, it was Steve Fisher's former assistant who's been the head coach there for the last 5 or 6 years. But they let him go. His contract expired. They didn't bring him back. So they have a new coach. He's actually a longtime high school coach at their powerhouse Clovis West. And they hired him, and he's got a very specific style. They go up and down the court like as fast as they can and as many possessions as possible. And they run an offense. It's a kind of a dribble drive offense. I'm sure Dutch will have them well scouted, but it's just very early to play a conference game. Normally the Aztecs don't start conference play until early January or maybe like the last day or two of December at the earliest. But with the new 20-game conference schedule that they're playing, they have to get at least one of these in early. So they're throwing that in tonight, and you definitely don't want to lose this one if you're San Diego State against Fresno State. They beat them by like 30 twice last year, but totally new team. I mean, Miles Bird was the only guy still on the team that scored in that game last year, so we'll see how it looks. Aztecs are fairly heavily favored, I believe.
I saw a 14-point line last night. I don't know if that's changed at all this morning.
But, there was also 2 years ago, they won a game like 45-43 up there. On their way to the Final Four, I think, was the barely beat Fresno State in Fresno.
12.5 now.
12.5.
Yep.
So, definitely not one that you can take lightly tonight, and they'll have to continue to play well, make some shots, and if they do, then they should take care of business.
I think I would take them probably at 12.5.
I would lean San Diego
14
State.
was God, that's a lot of points on the road.
It's actually, I think, easier to have confidence in San Diego State. Like last year, as good as they were, if Jaden Ledee had an off night, all of a sudden, who knew? Who's stepping up? You've got no offense outside of him, essentially.
Now you have a bench that's at least 9, 10
now
guys.
You feel like, you know what? You had 2 guys that have an off night. It's fine. There's like 3 or 4 other guys who are going to come in and
Coleman
be able to
Jones
score.
comes off
Exactly. So I think there's at least less of a chance of having one of those really bad nights where everyone's off, where San Diego State only scores like 50 points, just because they have more depth and more options offensively. So I feel a little more comfortable going into a game like this.
And confidence got to be at an all-time high after your last dub and how you showed out in that tournament. So, yeah, man, keep the good things rolling for the Aztecs. Dutch has done a great job with knowing who to put in and when. I mean, again, it's one of those deals when you have such a deep team, you're like, all right, well, I mean, I'm going to ride the hot hand, but I also got to get some of these guys and make sure that they're firing too. So he's done a really good job so far this year.
All right, when we come back, apparently Yu Darvish is doing exactly what we hoped he would do.
And is that a good thing?
The full court press is on in the Padres' pursuit of Roki Sasaki. We'll give you the update when we return with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Nope.
Happy birthday. I didn't realize that today was Blake's birthday. Thank you, Boomer Esiason, for the birthday update.
Shout out to Blake Snow.
Can always be counted on. I can tell you, though, he will not be number 4 with the LA Dodgers.
Nope.
That number is retired. Belongs to Duke Snider. He will be wearing number 7 with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Worn by Julio Urias. So that's
now available.
Yes.
So that's Blake's new number. He was introduced yesterday as the newest member of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't know. I felt like when he went to the Giants, it was like, okay, he went to the Giants.
Yeah.
When I see him in a Dodger blue hat, it looked weird yesterday.
It makes you sick.
He said what he had to say. You know, hey, who wouldn't want to be here?
Yep.
Wanted to live back down here, you know, with his lady and
their new baby.
Come down and enjoy Southern California again. And why wouldn't you want to play for the Dodgers?
Of course.
They're killing it right now.
Yep.
They wouldn't expect anything else.
Andrew Friedman said if you can't beat him, just add him to the team because they had not fared well against Blake Snell. Game 1 for them, if healthy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably your game 1 starter.
Yeah.
Glass now certainly
The way he
still
pitches,
I don't
there.
think he's going to be ready for opening day, is he?
I have no idea. What's his...
Shohei?
He didn't have Tommy John or anything, but...
No, he's hurt.
Yeah. Shohei won't, I would think, not be ready after the offseason surgery.
Maybe Yamamoto.
Yamamoto, had some
Blake Snell.
big playoff hero, gets the opening day start. Now, are they starting in Japan, right?
Ooh,
Again?
they are. They are
So
starting in Japan.
Maybe Yamamoto.
Is it the Cubs?
Can't remember.
I don't remember either. I don't care.
Maybe they'll just get jet lagged to
Cubs.
death next season.
Let's be honest. It's going to be Corbin Burns or Garrett
That's a good point.
Crochet
Yeah.
or let's.
They're not done yet. You can't make that decision at this point.
We're actually going to a 12-man rotation, full of all-stars, 1 through 12.
Could we be seeing Roki Sasaki in their starting
potentially.
rotation, or possibly in the Padres starting rotation? The full court press is apparently on like we expected. We'll get to that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Soapy Joe's Car Wash Online Stocking Stuffer. Buy 4 washes, get 2 free. Seeing some improvements on our roads. Northbound side of the 805 cleared an accident near the King Freeway. Still this other crash up ahead, though, before Home Avenue. It's in the center divide. Also, tow truck helping to clear a stalled vehicle out of middle lanes on northbound 15 before Adams Avenue. Cordell traffic cam shows a collision on the transition ramp westbound 8 to the northbound 805. Soapy Joe's believes in the magic of the holiday season. Give the gift of clean and shine. Now buy 4 washes, get 2 free. This is an online exclusive stocking stuffer. Visit SoapyJoesCarWash.com for more details. Hurry, offer ends December 23rd. Happy holidays from Soapy Joe's. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I think we sometimes have a tendency to see things, motivations that aren't necessarily there. But when it comes to AJ Preller, I have no doubt that he's got
Morning, guys.
he's got the long-term plans in place. And Roki Sasaki is not some surprise to AJ. We heard him talking about Roki at Peter Seidler's memorial a year ago. That was certainly not the first time he has been on AJ Preller's radar.
And that was unexpected.
It was unexpected to hear him say it out loud.
Yeah.
But, the idea was with all the scouting that they do over there, seeing a guy who was rumored to be maybe even coming over before he was going to cost big money, was going to be someone that AJ Preller would love to be a part of the San Diego Padres. Which, when you started looking at some of the moves, including, and I brought this up, the long extension for you, Darvish. And, love you. Had a great season last year. I'm glad he's part of the Padres rotation. But a lot of people wondered, why are you giving him 6 years?
Right.
He's already, 37? It's a long contract to give a pitcher at that stage in his career. Why do you need such, tremendous long-term loyalty from you, Darvish? And, immediately one of the things that came to my mind was, you, Darvish, has a reportedly close mentor relationship with Roki Sasaki. And Yu Darvish is one of the most respected figures, hugely respected here, but in Japan, it's almost like godlike how they
deity.
Revere Yu Darvish. And if you're trying to position yourself in the race to, win Roki Sasaki.
The race to Roki.
Who can pick whatever team he wants to go to without any really financial differences. How do you separate yourself from the rest of the pack? And the Padres' method is largely centered on Yu Darvish being a member of the Padres. Hideo Nomo as well, and it was confirmed yesterday in The Athletic as Dennis Lin wrote a piece about how, yes, Yu Darvish is courting and expected to be leading the charge to try to convince Roki Sasaki that the Padres will be the best place for him to start his Major League Baseball career next season.
I think Yu's 0 for 3, though, in recruiting.
I don't know.
Shohei, Yamamoto, and
Senga?
And maybe Imanaga. Yeah.
Yuki Matsui came. I have
He
no
did.
idea if Yu Darvish was instrumental in the recruiting tactics.
Ray says he didn't try for them.
And Dennis did write a little bit about that he did try for Seiya Suzuki, but Cubs offered a lot more money.
Seiya, that's maybe who it was.
Cubs offered a lot more money in that case, so he ended up going to Chicago. He also was fairly high on Chicago and said, "Oh, if you want to go to the Cubs and they're offering you a lot of money, that's a good place to be. You would play there as well." Does sound like, in this case, I don't think he is going to be touting the virtues of the Texas Rangers or any other organizations, the Dodgers. It's the Padres that he wants Roki Sasaki to come to. And we'll see if that helps. AJ pulled out all the stops to try to sign Shohei Ohtani, but ultimately there were just a couple of barriers to getting that done. Most importantly, the fact he didn't have a designated hitter spot in the National League at the time that made him choose the Angels instead of the Padres.
I think about all the jobs you've taken for your mentor, Hacksaw. You have leaned on him for advice for many years, and
Pilates,
and have modeled your career and personality after him. And I've seen where you've landed. And I tend to believe
you're a better radio host for it.
Yeah, you're a better radio host for it.
So, this is obviously, I hate to put too much on any one player, especially knowing could easily go to the Dodgers or, a handful of other teams. Baseball America had a ranking. Ben Badler had his top 7 destinations, I think, and it was Dodgers 1, Padres 2, Rangers, Mets, Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox for Roki Sasaki. But he could go to any of the other teams as well. So it's a lot of eggs to put in that basket. Boy, does he solve
a lot of it.
A lot of potential issues for the Padres. Adding a top flight, potentially starting pitcher at an absolute bargain basement price. It's
the dream, man.
It's a commodity
it's the San Diego Padres dream.
It doesn't really exist in Major League Baseball nowadays unless you hit, draft and develop and hit with a guy who doesn't have, the rookie sophomore slumps and struggles, which is very rare to see a pitcher jump through. Paul Skeens, they're pretty rare in Major League Baseball.
I love Paul Skeens.
This is one of the most valuable commodities that baseball has seen. Juan Soto is a very valuable commodity, but you have to pay You have to pay hundreds of millions of dollars for him. You do not for Roki Sasaki. It's almost unfair that he's coming over and one team is going to have that advantage. But if there's one team that's going to get that unfair advantage,
I'll take it.
Boy, I would love it to be the San Diego Padres. And if there's one team that doesn't need an unfair advantage right now, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You know what's happening.
That's the one that's going to bother me the most. They could go out and sign Corbin Burns and Juan Soto to go with Blake Snell and whoever else, and I'll go, fine. It's their money. They can do what they want. If they also get the cheap guy, though.
What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do.
There's nothing I can do, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
That's his decision to make, and he's got some pretty, as great as Yu Darvish is, but he's got a couple of pretty big allies over on that team, too.
Yamamoto, Ohtani,
and you're looking,
obviously.
And again, if you're looking down the road at saying, man, I'm in a new culture, in a new country. I want to ease my transition. Pretty good place to do it. Here,
although Dennis pointed out, here you're not quite under the microscope that you are there with just their hordes of Japanese media,
just the Ben and Woods microscope, and you know how hard that can be
exactly.
on people. Exactly.
And that should be one of you, Darvish's, and AJ Preller's selling points. Hey, it's still the bright lights, it's the big city, it's sold out crowds, but it's also not, the LA media market, and you're not in the shadow of Shohei Ohtani when you're coming down here as well.
Yeah, Ray said Roki's never taken the easy route. I mean, I like that about him. I would love to let
What's
myself...
the easy route? I mean, is
LA.
Is that the easy route?
Yeah.
In some ways, that could be a harder route.
No, it's easy. Easier, I think, than anywhere else right now. I can't let myself get excited about it. I can't. I won't let myself get excited about it. It just seems too logical. They're too confident right now, and usually it's not necessarily the case in baseball free agency, because you always hear, where there's smoke, there's fire. Rarely do you see smoke and go and the fire is actually burning where it's supposed to, especially with the San Diego Padres. But I guess if you want to read into it, Mike Schilt talking about moves up A.J. Preller's sleeve, maybe that's lip service, maybe not. Maybe he's just talking nice about his boss. But if when you put it all together, name-checking him at Peter Seidler's memorial, being in on him for so long, having Yu Darvish, sure, I can see the arrow point this way. But when every baseball writer says, yeah, 87% chance he goes to LA.
There's a few, like Jim Bowden, who say he's not going to the Dodgers,
Right.
but most 80% say he's going to the Dodgers. Adam, our boss, says, in what ways is it more difficult to sign with the Dodgers? It's the expectations. There's no success with the Dodgers other than a World Series title.
Victory, yeah.
Nothing. Everything is a disappointment other than a World Series title. That is hard for some people to know. I have no safety net. I have no soft landing.
It's also awesome.
You come in with the Padres, you have a solid first season and help them, back to the playoffs. No one's going to be mad at you. You come to the Dodgers and you lose a game in the World Series and you lose it, you're the GOAT and not in a good way.
The bad goat.
Paulie Reindl's got a Reindl Report coming up next. This could actually make mix number one. Do enjoy. This is my favorite Beach Boys song.
Oh, man. God Only Knows is mine, but this is up there.
I like God Only Knows, too.
It's a great one.
We actually agree on something musically.
Oh, it makes me weep.
Maybe the best two Beach Boys songs.
It makes me weep every time. It's so good. But I like this one, too. It puts me in a good mood.
Ben strikes me as a California
girls
guy.
Yeah. You like the
I
hits.
wish they all could be.
No. You know what he is? He's a Kokomo guy.
Well,
that's what he is. Way down to Aruba.
I do like songs
That's
that
it.
list
It's
place names.
Yeah. Oh my! It's
Heart of Rock and Roll.
Heart of Rock and Roll. Yeah.
Kokomo.
Yeah.
But the better Beach Boys was all the beaches is Surfing USA.
That's a great one.
I like that.
Santa no for the Surfing USA.
Down in La Jolla.
He loves it. Oh, he
Catch
just
him surfing in Del Mar. All the places I knew. And they're singing about all these places.
Yeah, I've been to Phoenix, Arizona, all
Oh,
the
yeah.
way to Tacoma.
Yeah. God. Yeah. What song is that? Jet Airliner? Steve Miller?
No, that one is.
Yeah, that's Jet Airliner.
Keep on rocking me, baby.
Keep on rocking me, baby.
Keep on rocking me, baby.
Man. Kokomo, though, that's your jam.
Yeah.
You know.
Place names in songs get me almost every time.
That's absolutely
so
unbelievable.
weird.
It's so weird.
It's one of the things I like about Smooth Operator.
He likes maps. He likes maps a lot. So
I do.
It does make sense.
I was actually reading. We talked earlier this year about raw dogging flights. People who
scare me to death.
People who just sit and watch.
How come I get my hand slapped after shows? And
I'm
he
so
doesn't?
glad you added the word flights to
Me
the end
and
of
you
that
both.
sentence. Jesus.
People who just watch the map and don't look at their phones, don't read, don't watch
They just
movies.
stare straight ahead.
They stare at the map at the back of the seat on the screen in front of them. And I was just reading this morning on The Ringer. They said it's surprising that more than 50% of people, more than 50% of the time on flights actually have the map up. It's actually fairly common. I love staring at the maps on flights.
I can't do it.
Like I can do it for not the whole flight, obviously, but I almost have it on like the whole time because I like to know exactly where we are. And I just think it's really neat to be able to see where you are over the country or wherever you're going. Like, ooh, look, I can look down and I'm over New Mexico right
You're
now.
a simple kid.
You are such. It gives me anxiety because if I'm flying and I have that feeling, it's like being in class. Remember when you're in class, you're like, don't look at the clock, dude. You know you're getting close to recess or gym or lunch or something you were looking forward to. Don't look at the clock. Got to be getting close. You look, you're like, oh my God, 56 minutes left, right? And you feel like you have a good sense of time. Then you get on a plane, you're like, we got to be getting close. And you're a quarter of the way. Like when we went to Hawaii last year, bro, I put the map up once. It was like,
You're much antsier than I am, though.
Much.
I am definitely a getting there is half the fun.
Not
sort of
on an
person.
airplane with two demon seats.
Well, maybe not with the kids, but I do enjoy the process of getting there quite a bit.
I don't mind it, but looking at the map gives me anxiety because I'm never far enough along. Never. I'm never like, oh, we're almost there.
I like the slow, steady progression.
Pace of it?
Just
Oh,
the very
I like to play
predictable continuation of the flight.
I like to play poker on the game in front of me. That's what I did pretty much the entire way to Hawaii. So that was good.
Can you play with real money or just for fun?
No, it's fake. It's on
Just
it's
for fun.
the airline version.
It's not.
They have the funny cartoon faces and
on the screen.
Yeah, on the screen. All in, all in, all in, all in, all in.
Lots of consequences
Lots
for
of
you there.
yeah, it's free money. Oh, it's great. All right, Paulie, take it away.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
Two stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And one story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right, indeed.
Gentlemen, it was a slow sports day yesterday.
It was. Hence the reading of the Boogie Nights oral history that
Yeah.
went down. I actually tried to watch some NBA last night, and it didn't grab me.
NBA Cup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't grab me.
Yeah.
So I went to Boogie Nights.
Well, no NBA scores or anything like that in the Reindl Report this morning. I guess sports media news. Sometimes we do talk about that.
Yep.
Stephen A. Smith is reportedly close to a new contract extension with ESPN, and Front Office Sports is reporting that it looks like he will be the first ESPN talent to reach a $100 million deal, $20 million a year at least for 5 years. It does say that, quote, issues to be resolved still. I don't know if that's just dotting I's and crossing T's, but Stephen A. Smith, I mean, look, ESPN's not going to let him go anywhere.
$100 million.
It's a lot of money, though.
Are we doing the same job? That's what I want to know. Is it possible to be that valuable as a media personality where you're making $20 million a year
Currently, he's making $12 a year.
Spew sports opinions? I get it. He's got a bigger audience, which is great.
Yeah.
But is it really that valuable to ESPN? That valuable to pay that much money to have Stephen A. Smith? And I'm not trying to install. I like Stephen A. I think he's pretty talented.
Say that. It's been a while.
Thank you for that.
I'm just a little curious. You know, there was a controversy a couple of days ago about the movie Wicked. Did you see this?
I did not see the controversy.
Where there was accusations that Ariana Grande and the other co-star were making not the same amount of money.
Never mind, I thought you were going something else.
And I forget what her name is. She plays the Wicked Witch, the green, and then there's Ariana Grande, who's the Good Witch. Now, Ariana Grande is a fairly large name. Her co-star, though, I had never heard of her.
Okay.
It's not offensive to think that two different people would be paid differently for the same job.
Correct.
But people were saying that would be an outrage. They're both acting. They're like on screen the same amount. They should make the exact same amount. But obviously people with bigger names and bigger reputations
get more money.
And they were quick to deny. Oh, no. We would never do that. We wouldn't pay two different actors a different rate for the same work. But that happens all the time.
All the time.
If that was true, then we should all be making $20 million a year because we're doing essentially the same work as Stephen A. Smith.
I'd say our job's even harder.
Probably is. So,
minus the probably.
How many hours is First Take? 2 hours?
Yeah, we get a 4-hour show.
Well, and
it's not offensive to think
he has a national palette. We have a local palette.
Right.
It's way different. No. I want a raise. I think that's what it all boils down to.
I just don't think that, whatever it is Stephen A. Smith, 200 times more talented than we are? No. Probably not. No. I'll do the job half as well as Stephen A. Smith for
a tenth of it.
For 100th of the money.
Yeah, no doubt.
Will you yell and scream like Stephen A. Smith for a segment?
Why not?
Do a whole Ben Stephen A. Smith.
I need to get in the mood. But.
Yeah. That's a lot of scratch. How do you, again, I guess clearly he creates enough revenue somehow to justify it, because you're not going to give a guy $20 million a year if he brings in $6 million.
So he's making 12 now. In June, it was reported that he had turned down 18 a year. He's gonna get that 20.
I mean, it's the same thing with professional athletes. The money seems insanely huge, but people are paying it because they feel like, well, they can justify it. They're making that money back somehow.
I'm reading about more of the ESPN talent, and the one I think is maybe the most egregious would probably be Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. 5-year deal worth $90 million, $18 million a year. They call 16 games a year?
One a week.
One a week?
Yeah.
And I like Joe Buck. I think he's good.
I like them together.
I think they're a great team.
If Joe Buck
on Monday
left,
Night Football.
None of us would ever watch football again. Correct?
That's just not true.
Is
totally not true.
anybody only watching Monday Night Football because, you're only watching First Take in the morning because you like Stephen A.
Because you like Stephen A.
Or you're hate watching, I guess.
Yeah.
But you're gonna watch Monday Night Football regardless of who's broadcasting.
You hate Joe Davis and John Smoltz.
Yes, I still watched
and
every
you
game.
Still watched.
Yeah.
They could literally pay someone minimum wage to do the job that you probably would like more.
Which is, by the way,
Buck and Aikman don't really do anything else for ESPN.
Right.
Stephen A. Smith's everywhere.
And that's the thing is, look, not to take shots at our business, but that radio did that 20 years ago. They decided, I'm not going to invest in personalities anymore. Let's get somebody in here. We'll play 60 songs an hour, and and they just stopped investing in personalities. You would shudder to know what morning show hosts with the ratings that we have used to make in 1995. And it wasn't 6 figures. It was 7 figures. That thought keeps me up at night.
Yeah, I don't,
7 figures for this gig.
I don't like to talk money, and I'm doing fine. I'm not complaining. But I make less at Channel 10 than my predecessor made 20 years ago.
Correct.
After being there for 20 years.
Correct.
He was there for like 5.
Right.
And I still don't make what he makes.
Correct.
The money has gone way down
Way
in our
down.
business.
We
missed it.
Yeah,
we missed
it.
the gravy
We missed
train.
the window.
Same with morning radio.
Yep.
We missed the giant gravy train. Now, were they
Correct.
making too much? You could argue maybe.
Yep.
Are we making too little? I would argue yes.
See, like
but
Kurt-
that's the reality.
And Curtis says, hey, Adam, I'll do this for minimum wage. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That happens in our business, too.
All the time.
All the time.
And I will do Joe Buck's job probably for minimum wage as well. And
yeah.
I wouldn't be as good as Joe Buck.
No.
But I'd be fine.
But you'd be fine.
I'd be fine. You'd still watch football if I was calling it on Fox.
Yep.
Promise you that.
I would like that.
So you mentioned Wicked, and before that we were talking about flying on airplanes. I had heard a story. So Bowen Yang, he's on Saturday Night Live cast. He's in that movie. They filmed during the SNL season, I think probably last year. And Lorne Michaels has a policy that, like, during the season of SNL, you don't do other side projects. You cannot do it. Sorry. Do it during the summer, doing it during off time. You cannot do it during the season, even though it's only Saturday night. Obviously, they have table reads and everything throughout the week. Ariana Grande needed him in this movie. She called Lorne Michaels personally, like, set up a meeting and basically begged him to let Bowen Yang do this. He said, okay. So for I don't know how many weeks or months, but Bowen Yang during production would do Saturday Night Live on Saturdays, get on a plane, fly to London, I think, over the Atlantic Ocean, work for 4 days, fly back, do the next week's SNL, and he did that every week for however long.
That's insane.
I don't know that I could do that.
I couldn't either.
You get the sense that Lorne Michaels, who sometimes appears on Saturday Night Live, is like sneaky the most like power mad person in Hollywood.
Yeah, like drunk with power.
A lot of rules to follow.
100%.
Yeah. All right, next up, I couldn't remember if we talked about this. Kyrie Irving is being sued by his like family therapist for over $400,000.
Huh.
Could have been a DDT. So the suit was filed in New York on Monday, and Natasha McCartney is the name of the woman, the therapist. She's suing him for about $400,000. She was hired by Kyrie Irving to run a 150-person family retreat in North Dakota this past summer.
Okay.
And costs ballooned to well over like $400,000. She hasn't been paid.
Oh, he didn't pay it.
The guest list tripled on her. One attendee died.
Oh.
I don't know if that was because of the activities at summer camp or, they just
sometimes
had a
people
heart
just die.
attack.
It's not always your fault.
But if you're running a camp and somebody dies, like, you have to deal with all of that. So she was hired to do, it was this like summer camp that I don't know if it was his family or he was hosting a family event.
Right.
150 plus people. She was going to do meditation sessions, foot baths, life readings, etc. And she has not been paid. She's been working with Kyrie Irving since 2020.
Damn.
But she's owed like $400,000 and has not been paid. So now Kyrie's getting sued for that.
He's in arrears.
That's a funny word.
You got to pay your debts.
Arrears.
Suing for breach of contract, fraud, unjust enrichment, and seeking damages, including the missed payment plus interest costs and the legal fees. The suit claims that Irving told her the retreat would be 50 to 60 people, jumped up to 115 a week before it began, and then when she showed up, 150 people there.
Good God.
I don't think Kyrie is necessarily a bad guy, but I don't necessarily feel he lives on the same planet as the rest of us sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that can lead to problems
Things
when
like
you
this.
deal with other people.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair,
assessment. You should make $20 million a year for that assessment.
You got to scream that assessment.
That's right.
Not a bad guy, just not quite living on the same planet as the rest of
You
us.
got to use really big words.
Which is a lot. That's a lot of celebrities, too, I think. They're in a different orbit.
Oh, yeah.
The best are
Rules don't apply.
the celebrities who do live on planet
Yes,
Earth with
the
us.
best. The Keanu Reeves
are
of the world.
so cool.
Yes, they're great.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, just the regular people.
Just
Like
wants to
Paul
play
Rudd is
basketball.
one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, just like they're cool, they're normal, but they're also super famous and rich. Love that.
All right, and finally, Miller High Life has a tradition that I either forgot or never knew about of every December coming out with dive bar themed items that you can purchase.
Okay.
And we've got this year's. In the past, they've done things like back in 2021, a dive bar scented candle.
Oh.
Supposed to smell like a dive. I love a good dive bar.
I love a dive bar.
Not the smell, though.
They did
No, I do.
dive
Really?
bar
Yeah.
flavored ice cream in the past. Last year, they did a dive bar scented bar light, which I don't even know how that works. Like a lamp.
I mean, we're talking about the scent of kind of stale beer
Stale
and a
beer,
little bit of smoke,
sticky
right?
floor.
Trash,
Yeah.
smoke, perfume. I love it.
You like that
Oh,
smell.
I love it.
I'm glad you said perfume because this year's item is Barfume. Miller High Life Dive Barfume. It's a clone that is supposed to smell like a dive bar. You put it on, people will ask, "What were you doing last night?"
Yeah, I went and blew it out last night.
It includes notes of leather, cedarwood, patchouli, sea salt, and tobacco. And it says here it's meant to capture the smell of every familiar dive bar scent, from the satisfying crack of a freshly opened beer to the comforting, savory taste of classic bar snacks. They are selling just a limited number of bottles. It's $60 each for the Barfume. And they're doing drops today, tomorrow, and Friday. You got to go to their website to purchase.
I think I would buy that. I'm not going to, but I would.
See, to me, a good dive bar is good because of the personality.
Yes.
But not the actual scent.
The jukebox makes a dive bar great.
The
people. I love dive
The
bars.
champagne of colognes.
Yeah, the champagne of colognes.
And a good worn bar stool,
Yeah.
but still somewhat comfortable.
Yeah. Dark. It's gotta be a little dark.
Yeah. But not the scent necessarily. That's something you overcome.
No, I like it.
To enjoy the
I
dive
like it.
bar.
You imagine waking up, 4 a.m., you take a shower, you throw on some Miller High Life bar cologne, dive bar cologne, and then you get pulled over on the drive into work, for speeding or something. Good luck selling that one to the cop.
You're like,
you smell like a bar.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever done this. Throw it in the chat. San Diego's best dive bars. What are the places that you like to go? And not fancy, but just your dive bar.
What's the place by the airport?
Aero Club.
My favorite.
It's a good one.
God, that's good.
Live Wire on El Cajon Boulevard.
Yep.
Good craft beer dive bar. The quality can
Soda
still
bar
be
was
good.
fun.
Soda bar was a blast.
You don't need.
That dive bar?
I wouldn't say that was hipster.
So, no, it was divey, though.
You think it's divey?
Yeah, I think so.
It's kind of one and the same.
Everyone's
Can be.
weighing in. Night Owl, Study in El Cajon, Stoney's, Alibi, The Office. What's the places up by us? There's a couple.
Let's see. What's the one in Cardiff?
Oh, yeah. In the strip mall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Place is scary.
As every good dive bar should be a little scary too.
Yeah, that's true.
Lancers in North Park, been there. Lamplighter, been there. I've heard the Liars Club is a good
High
one.
dive, that's a good one.
Why can't I think of the one in Cardiff? I'll come back with it. We're getting lots of suggestions. of
Winston's
dive
in
bars.
OB. Holy crap. Yeah. I love that place.
I think you just say OB in general.
Yeah.
Rockies, I don't know. The burger might be too good to be a dive bar.
OB is the dive bar of San Diego.
Yeah. Which is great.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
So good.
Not an insult.
No, it's not the Kraken.
They were talking about the Kraken yesterday on Annie and Elston and Cougar Dens in North County.
Cougar Dens.
Cougar Dens.
Dens
The
to find
Kraken,
cougars.
Jimmy O's.
Wow. Oh, Jimmy O's. Oh. Whew. I don't want to talk about it. It's a dark period.
I've had fun there.
Oh, yeah.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we need something to talk about, so bring some stories for us when we come back after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Dive bar talk is going strong on our YouTube chat right now. Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Actually, when I went up to cover the Padres-Dodgers game, playoff game last month, first two games of the series, I was going with a couple of colleagues from Channel 10, younger than me, and we had to go somewhere for lunch. So I dragged them, saw a dive bar. We went, and usually it's, food's pretty good. Burgers are tasty. And it was a place just across the street off the freeway by Dodger Stadium. It was called The Office. Well, it seems like half of dive bars are called The Office.
Yeah, there's a really good one up there called The Shortstop. That's
The Shortstop?
Yeah, really divey, really, really good.
It's the toughest thing, though, is going in the first time to one you've never been to before. It's intimidating. You have no idea how territorial, perhaps, the regulars are going to be.
True.
You get the look like, oh, who just walked through the front door. We don't recognize that person.
It's not a Western.
It's a little bit of a Western, yes.
It's a little saloon
it's
doors.
A little bit of a Western. Everyone stops and looks and stares.
The scratch on the jukebox.
I get that feeling sometimes when you walk into a dive bar where you're not a regular customer.
But I don't go out much anymore, but when I did, that was where I would like to frequent. Dive bars. Big fan. Chicago is world famous for them. I mean, they were open till 4 a.m. They close for an hour and then reopen again. And those were some dark times, certainly, but fun at the time.
Did you work at an establishment like that? Closed at 4 a.m.?
No, those were like the liquor stores, but liquor stores also had a bar attached to them.
Oh, okay.
It was wild. wild. When you're drinking Jack and Cokes at 6:30 a.m. on a Sunday, things aren't going well for you. And if it happens more than a dozen times, they're really not going well for you.
Well, or you just worked a shift until 5 a.m. on Saturday, and you're unwinding at 6:30 a.m.
Nope.
Can't remember the name. There's a place in OB that opens at like 5 a.m.
Oh.
They close for just a couple of hours in the night, and they open super early. And I've been told, I've never gone that early, but like it is packed. At like 6 a.m. Guys getting screwdrivers, Bloody Marys, and breakfast on their way to work. I'm like, oh man, that's
the soccer fans they'll go out early. And start
Shakespeare's, places that open early to watch English soccer on the weekends and serve plenty of ale. Ale.
Yes. We should meet for an ale soon. Frosty mug of ale. As excited as I am to go to England in July to see the concert, I am also as excited to go hang out in the pubs, the Irish pubs, the English pubs. I've already been scouting out locations and the best ones. I'm elated to do that.
When I went, the only time I covered the Chargers in London, and we were there for a week, and we were staying kind of in an Airbnb, early days of Airbnb. This was late 2000s. And the ground floor was like a pub.
So great.
Just go down there and
grab a beer.
And
we should go grab a glass of mead.
The one thing that I couldn't quite get over, though, is truly they don't drink their beer cold.
It's warmish.
It's not warm.
It's not
but
warm, but it's not. I like
certainly
it.
not cold.
I like it.
You do like that.
I do like that. Yeah.
I don't need it icy cold, but
because I don't like ice cold beer.
But I tend to once at the end, and it's starting to get the last few sips that are kind of warmed up a little bit. I can't get those down.
The colder the better for me.
Yeah, I don't really like cold drinks. He's asking me where I'm staying. I'm staying in Manchester, so I will not be in London. I went to some pubs in London. It was whatever. Manchester feels more pubby.
I think when you go to London, this pub's been around since 1543, and like this is hundreds of years older than my country. Then you feel like, okay, there's some history here.
Satan's Blowfish says, so you carry around a warm Dr. Pepper? Yes, I have, absolutely. I don't mind. I don't mind warm drinks.
I'll drink room temperature water so I can get it down fast. But otherwise, I want my drinks
I like
to
room
be cold.
temperature tea. I like room temperature soda.
You don't want hot tea, cold tea? You just want room temperature tea.
I like them all. I like all of them.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let's go to break.
Different.
All right. Final break of the program. Annie and Elston coming up at 10 o'clock this morning. Wrap things up. Get you ready for the rest of your day here with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. I feel like I feel bad because we talked about Blake Snell's birthday earlier. Boomer Esiason shouted him out.
We didn't know. He told us.
But it's also Joe Musgrove's birthday.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Happy birthday to Joe. Paul said he seemed to remember that the two of them shared a birthday.
Yeah, I think they talked about that at one point.
So December 4th. Happy birthday to both Joe Musgrove and Blake Snell.
But
rivals.
mostly Joe Musgrove.
Mostly Joe Musgrove.
98% Joe Musgrove.
Yes, 2%.
2% Blake Snell.
How old is Joe now? 31?
A little bit older?
30, 32.
32
was 31, now 32.
Okay. Going to miss him in 25. I keep forgetting he's not going to throw for us in 20. Maybe the playoffs if we get there, potentially.
That's right. He'll be 33 probably before he throws another real pitch for the San Diego Padres.
The last time we saw or heard from him, that impromptu press conference in the dugout up at Dodger Stadium in the playoffs, it was like heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking.
You could just hear how the disappointment in his voice.
Yeah, it was so sad, dude.
Not only for missing next year, but for knowing that the team's going to take a hit now in this current series that we're in.
That was tough, dude. That was a tough one in the stomach.
I wonder how he's going to kind of handle the season. I mean, I have no doubt he's still going to be a big part of the Padres. Some guys, when they're rehabbing, it's kind of separate and, they keep their distance a little bit because they don't want to necessarily detract or, take away some of the attention from the other players.
That's a tough one.
I can't imagine Joe's just going to disappear. He'll be around the team. He'll be
out at Saquon, maybe.
See him at spring training, I would think, while he's working on rehab and stuff.
Of course. I think so.
Yeah.
But as far as the season goes, I don't know. I don't know how that works necessarily.
I think it's different for everybody.
Different for everybody?
Was it Clevenger that traveled with the team that whole year? He didn't want to miss any of it.
Yeah.
You don't typically see that a ton. He's obviously, I'm sure Joe would be welcome to, or he can stay home.
We would never see him.
Oh,
if I was rehabbing for
if Ben
a year,
had vocal cord surgery and was out for a year, he wouldn't just be sitting in the corner watching.
The next time we saw him would be the first show he did with us, which would be a year later. We wouldn't see him for an entire year.
I'd be ready to go though when I came back.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be here helping or egging us on or doing things to help us succeed in your absence. Right?
Well, what do you think Joe should be doing this year?
Working on, hey, this is how you get this guy out. This is let's go over this film together, like a junior pitching coach, if you will.
Yeah, helping the young guys like Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, helping Roki get his feet wet.
Would you want me just writing you out notes on how
things
to do
to
this?
Say? You would try to
Somehow I feel like that would grow old quickly, Woods.
Paul, you got to get this guy the hell out of here. I'm going to lose my mind. I don't need you here. I do not need you here. Yeah, pointing at it. It just says Aztecs on it. Okay, I'll get to it. I swear, I'll get to it. Holy crap. That is fantastic. Fantastic. No, I don't know. I mean, Joe's a team guy. You know that. So I'm assuming he's going to want to be around the team as much as he can. But
certainly has an open invitation if he wants to join
come in
this
here.
show all year long.
He can co-host.
Yeah, as often as he likes.
It's actually not a terrible idea to have Joe come in and
cover the
do
Padres,
do some radio.
The year of Joe.
Yeah, that would actually be a really good idea. Let's run it up the flagpole.
Extend that invitation.
I'm sure it'll be greeted warmly.
Hey, we just wanted to keep you busy this year, so we're putting you with Ben and Woods.
Yeah, for the year.
Year. Go do the radio in the morning, go do your rehab.
And then you're done.
Paulie will send you the rundown.
Yeah.
We need you there at about 5 a.m.
I'm texting him. I'm like, hey, can you talk about this, right? I'm not really comfortable talking about it. Yeah, I would love to have him. I'd love to have him. It'd be so fun to have him come in and shoot the breeze.
That would be fun to have him in just for a morning.
Yeah, just have him in.
Wonder if we can do. It's weird. Like a lot of times when you're on like the injured list for a year, especially like a long time injured, they're like, do not bother the players. They don't do a lot of interviews or anything like that. But you never know. I think if anybody was down to do it, it would be Joe.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm gonna miss him, man. I'm gonna miss watching him throw. He was really throwing well last year when he came back. So it's a bummer, and yet more innings you're gonna have to replace. And so far, nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Nothing under the tree yet.
Although you did have you had a big addition to the family yesterday.
Did. Yeah, big day.
Let everybody know about that after a check of traffic here on Ben and Woods and Paul and Joe on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Hey, we just cleared an accident westbound 8 at the northbound 805 connector. Now we got a new one right before the 805. Why, I got a couple vehicles involved there over to the right shoulder. Northbound 5, an accident right before Genesee. Those vehicles are over to the right shoulder. Also, a collision on the South 5 coastline before Lucadia. Those vehicles are trying to get over to the right shoulder. Also getting reports of a stalled vehicle on the El Norte on-ramp to southbound 15. It's over to the right shoulder. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
If Joe said he'd do it but wanted top billing, Joe and Ben and Woods.
No problem.
We're both okay with that?
100%. Right. He deserves top billing.
The offer is there.
Who are we?
Joe, if you want top billing to come and host with us for a
year.
Joe
and Ben and Woods.
Joe and Ben and Woods.
It rolls off the tongue.
All right, tell everybody about the new familial edition yesterday.
We got the van yesterday, the old Sprinter van. They delivered it yesterday.
I thought you got a new cat.
No, we decided not to get the cat.
Oh, you didn't get the cat.
What did you think I said earlier?
I said I know you had the van, but I thought you also got a new cat.
No.
You decided against the new cat?
Yeah, we did.
8 is enough, or however many.
We have 3 right now. Hannah wants another one. She has a great name for it, by the way.
Oh.
Turn your mics off. I'll tell you guys.
Oh!
Yeah. So, I don't want anybody to steal it.
Yeah, you definitely need to keep that secret.
So good.
You actually use that.
Yeah, so good. So that's we're on the hunt right now. But
you did get your Sprinter van.
We got the van delivered.
Didn't have to drive up to L.A. to pick it up.
Nope, they brought it down to us. It's all fixed up. I will tell you, it's daunting. There it is. The old Ben bus.
Have you christened it yet?
We did not.
What do you mean, like take it out for a drive?
I mean, smashing a bottle of champagne on it, of course. What did you think I meant?
I thought about it because we had some time yesterday, but my wife was so excited to get it that all she wanted to do was start doing things to it. Now, it's pretty daunting, right? It's basically a home on wheels. And when you get it, it's not just as easy as like, let's load up the van. There's pumps and there's buttons and all kinds of stuff. I actually went to Google yesterday and Googled this. We got our Sprinter van. Now what? Swear to God. We got our van.
Like some sort of self-help video?
What I needed was, I needed the most elementary, you got your van, day one. Here's what you want to do. You want to fill this water tank with fresh water. Here's how you do it. You want to make sure that this button's pushed. Run this amount of time. I'm telling you, I took the manual out. I started reading and I went, oh my God, we're dead. And then you got to remember who I'm married to. The list of things that she wants to add to this almost immediately. I looked at her yesterday. I go, look.
Disco ball.
All kinds of stuff, dude. Running lights, like a spare tire, a ladder, this whole thing. And I looked at her and I go, look, babe, we're not going anywhere. It's not like we have it. It's ours. We don't have to get this all done today. Now, she always yells at me for procrastinating, but I don't. What I didn't want to do is try to figure out the entire thing yesterday. We can ease into this thing a little bit, but we did take the kids out for a little drive last night. Looked at some Christmas lights and stuff. It's pretty badass. It has a bathroom. It's got a refrigerator.
It has a bathroom.
Yeah, it's got a bathroom.
Really?
Shower. Yeah, the whole
what?
thing. Yeah.
Wait, I mean, it's not an RV.
It's a Sprinter van.
It's a van.
It's a big ass.
So how's the bathroom work? Do you have to?
Oh, it's small.
Well, obviously, but I mean, do you have to then empty it?
Yeah, you have to empty the tank. I have a rule. I said no one ever goes to the bathroom in this ever. If we're driving somewhere and somebody has to go to the bathroom, we'll just pull over, right? Like, and especially not a deuce. That's never happening ever in that van. Never. And so
it's a bathroom that is no one is ever allowed to use.
But we could shower in it.
You're allowed to shower, but not go to the bathroom.
Correct.
In your bathroom.
Correct.
But on a long road trip, the kids have to go.
We pull over to Buc-ee's and they go.
It's just there.
It's there.
What happens if you did go? Is there a tank or is
There's
there
a tank? Yeah,
there's a tank.
You have to empty it all. And trust me, I'm learning as I go here. It's very, very involved. Very involved.
Like Cousin Eddie into the sewer.
It's nicer than Cousin Eddie's, but the thing is the idea is the same. You do have to empty those, and I've talked to many.
Wrappers full.
Yeah, I've talked to many bands that said, "Oh yeah, number one is fine on a van. Number two, it does not happen. If you're a band and you're going cross country, it's like we have this big tour bus. You don't do it on that ever. It's just not. It's not something acceptable because then think about two. Think about it.
I don't want to think about two.
No, but think about it. You know, everybody's there and wafting and all of it. Like it just doesn't. And then you have to empty it and clean it. Forget it. So I told Hannah, I'd rather them go in their pants than have to do that tank.
Is it like a separate shower, or is it the same room?
It's all the same.
It just
you fold
the
toilet up, and then there's a hose. I mean, it's tiny. It's to rinse off, maybe.
Okay.
You know, if you go to the beach or something, you can rinse off. But there's also an outdoor hose.
This isn't a spa. No.
It's really but it's so nice and cool and it's fun, man. It's kind of scary to drive.
Refrigerator?
Yeah, little fridge, and a microwave. Bo goes, we can make all kinds. He goes, we can make steak, and I go, how are you going to make? You could heat up steak in the microwave, but we're not cooking steak in there. But it's pretty dope.
Heat up your trout.
Yeah, all of our trout that we catch as we're camping on the side of the Idaho River. You know us. I told her, I go, we're going to go to Vegas, and you never want to go. You'll never want to go anywhere again. Probably going to get one road trip out of it. But the thing is who I'm married to, my wife around the house doesn't like, don't put your hands on the walls. Don't do this. Don't do that. So it was it's just a new vessel for rules. That's all it is. It's a new rule vessel that we acquired to drive around. So there's all these rules. Don't touch this. Don't do that. Do not touch this. Don't do this. And I told her last night, I fear I'm not going to enjoy this as much as I should because you're ruining the experience for me right now. So she didn't take too kindly to that.
I did notice that you attached a Ben & Woods sticker.
Yeah, it's the Ben Bus.
Onto the Sprinter.
Right in the front.
See, now if I had a new car, I would not put any bumper stickers or stickers on, at least for a while.
Well, you don't ride for the brand like I do, so it's okay.
Just worry about damaging
the resale value.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
We're fine. We're not going to do. You can make the back out into a bed. I think, and I don't. Here's the thing. Maybe somebody can answer this question for me. So we're driving the kids to Vegas in March, right? In the van.
Still doing that.
Yeah. Do I make the bed out and they can lay there? That doesn't feel very safe. If they're laying in a bed, they're six.
We still have to have seat belts on when they're driving.
Well, that's the thing is if you lay the bed out, you don't. There's no seat belt that can strap. I'm not going to tie them to the bed. So I guess we can't do that, right? They have to be strapped in.
I would think, yes.
The rules still
legally,
apply,
yes.
Right.
It's funny, we grew up, there were no rules.
No, you could ride in the back. I used to ride in the back of my mom's Cutlass, like where the windshield met that big ledge. I would sleep there when I was a kid.
There are cars you could sit backwards.
So somebody's asking, is it an RV or a converted transit van? I don't know. It's a Sprinter van. It's like an Airstream body with a Mercedes engine is what it is. It's badass, though, and it drives really well. But yeah, I think, yes, I have to have the kids strapped in. So in their mind, they're like, oh, this will be great. We can sprawl out here in the back for 6 hours. No, you're going to be sitting.
Taylor's still young enough. He has to be in a car seat, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Do I have to put a car seat back there?
Yeah, I would think so.
This is great.
Was Bo out of all of his car seats?
No,
still
he's in a
booster still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, can't do it. Everyone's telling me, all right, yeah. Now people are saying they don't have to be strapped in. I think I'd feel safer if they were strapped in. I don't want them flying around loose in the car.
Well, if
something happens.
I mean, put in a lot of padding and everything.
Yeah,
you
there's padding.
That's helpful.
But it's pretty sick. I wonder. She drove them to school in it today. I think this is going to become her everyday car. I really do. I think she's going to drive it.
Not fuel efficient.
Correct. But she doesn't drive a ton. So I do think this is going to be her every.
You think like in the drop off, everyone liked having to be behind a Sprinter van?
That's what I said. So just so you know, last night, before we went to look at Christmas lights, we drove to school and we parked in our spot just to make sure that it fit and it wouldn't get scratched up by the trees. Man, it fit. So yeah, we got it. She will not let me take it to fantasy camp or spring training. I've already asked. Cool. So don't get your hopes up there. But
that would have been fun.
Pretty sick. It's pretty sick. Yeah, we'd have a great time. So yeah, the Ben bus is here. Very excited. We did not christen it yet. Maybe get to that this afternoon.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Do you need a bottle of champagne?
Nope.
When your ships come in.
It's easy to grin when your ships come in and you've got the stock market beat.
When the Ben bus is a rockin',
don't come knocking. Yeah, she wants to put stickers all over it.
Oh, we're
of
talking
all the places we go and all that bit.
So you want to turn it into like a VW van?
I have no say.
Like a Sprinter van crossed with a '60s VW bus.
All I do is share in the expense, and also probably won't get to drive it much. So it's going to be fun.
Unless it needs to be refueled or washed.
Right, exactly. Or the tank's emptied. She has assigned me to learn how to do the tanks.
More than happy to let you take it in those instances.
It's big, dude. It is big. No, it's brand new. Dan just asked me if it was brand new. Yeah, brand new. No, I didn't say. I said Ben bus. It's the Ben bus. That's what we call it.
I have not been in it yet.
No,
at some point.
You probably never will, to be honest.
I'm not even allowed in the Ben bus?
You've never been to my house. You come to the front door.
You don't accept visitors.
No visitors allowed.
I did get half of a tour once.
You did,
when
half
you
a
first
tour.
moved in.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Not a full tour.
I've never been over since.
Half tour. Been to your driveway a number of times.
Many times.
Picked you up, dropped you off. But rarely do I get to cross the threshold.
No, I mean, I'm excited for it. I won't get to use it much, but it's exciting. The kids were very stoked when they got home from school yesterday to see it. They love it. So you think about all the trips we're going to be doing, going to baseball tournaments and whatnot. Like, it just makes sense. So just got to find all the right things to equip it, and put we're going to need storage and the ladder and all that stuff is a necessity. But it's an undertaking, to be sure.
All right, that is it for us. We will be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Talk about the Aztecs game tonight against 7:30 tip-off on FS1. Annie and Elston are coming up next for executive producer Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods, owner of the Ben Bus. I am Ben Higgins. Thanks for joining us on Ben and Woods, or Joe and Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.